Welcome to Sugar Land, Texas. We're live at Constellation Field, home of the Atlantic League champion Sugar Land Skeeters, who come out with a record of 17-13 after a Game 1 win here today. Earlier today, as part of a day-night doubleheader, the Skeeters won 8-7 in 7 innings. They will take on the York Revolution, who are now 11-17. The Skeeters will send up their right-hander, Sean Gleason, who is 1-0 with a .497 ERA, against Southpaw Frank Gailey, who is 4-1 with a .186 ERA. It is game number 31 of the season, home game number 20. One of the big heroes in game 1 was Skeeter center fielder Derek Miller, and Andy Humphrey had a chance to catch up with the game 1 star.
Thanks, Ira. I'm here with Derek Miller, who scored a couple of runs and drove in another as the Skeeters went 8-7. And Derek, I got to ask you about that play in the fourth. Yeah. When you laid down the bunt, did you think that a few moments later you'd be crossing home?
I did not. I was just trying to get on base and help our team score a run that inning. So worked out. They threw a couple bad ones and came around to score.
And you've been hitting pretty well in these last few games, and you drove in one on a double. How have you been seeing the pitches lately in these last few games?
Yeah, I've been seeing it well, just trying to get balls over the plate and put some good swings on it, and it's been working out.
With being a doubleheader, how do you guys recuperate, and how will you guys get ready for this next one after this win?
Just try to hydrate a lot and take care of your body, and I mean, it's tough, but it's the nature of the beast, so just got to get ready for it.
Well, go rest up. Good game. And Skeeters win this one 8-7. Derek Miller, our play of the game. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Back to you, Ira.
Thank you, Andy. So Derek Miller was the player of the game in Game 1. Here in Game 2, the Skeeters will try to sweep this doubleheader. Of course, always a difficult thing. What do you think is the toughest part, Brett, about sweeping a doubleheader?
Just feels like, for whatever reason, that these two teams, or any two teams, break even. So I don't know. It's a little bit different with the 7-inning and 9-inning games. You know, the 7-inning games are, you get a lead, you feel like you're in a pretty good spot. Although you guys had a wild one here to start the festivities today.
I spoke to York manager Mark Mason. He said, when you get 3 in the first in a 7-inning game, you feel you can coast. That's right. You expect the Skeeters to score 3 in the bottom of the first. So you're right. Usually it's a 4-1, 3-2 type of game, but it was a wild one, an 8-7 victory as the Skeeters came from behind. Well, the players are on the field. We are ready to start Game 2 of this day-night doubleheader. When we come back, the starting lineups and the first pitch. It is time to play ball when we return right here to Constellation Field in a moment. From La Junta, Colorado, selected in the 25th round originally by the Red Sox in 2006 out of Lamar Community College in Colorado. Then he was selected in the 20th round by the Orioles in 2007 at the St. Mary's College of California. Last year he split time between Mexico, New Britain, and the Skeeters, so he had quite a bit of a traveling budget last year. 5-12, a 4.76 ERA combined between the three teams. 8 seasons, he is 35-38 with a 4.11 ERA. He's been both a starter and a closer in 2008 with Delmarva while in the O system, 12-2 with a 2.63 ERA, and in 2011 he had a career-high 32 saves. So he's done everything, and he'll be starting Game 2 here for the Skeeters. This is his second stint with the Skeeters after joining them down the stretch. And he'll face Joe Constanza to lead it off, the DH. 259 for Joe. No home runs and 6 RBIs. First pitch here by Gleason is low and in. Ball 1, 1-0, and we're underway. Game 3 of a 4-game series and also Game 2 of a doubleheader. Skeeters won Game 1, 8-7. This one, by the way, is a 9-inning game. The earlier game was 7 innings. 1 ball and 1 strike to count. Gleason winds and delivers the 1-1, and this one is right down the middle for strike 2, 1-2. Umpires for tonight, John Sevier is behind the dish, Jim Tatum at first, and Reggie Liggins down at third base. Gleason's 1-2 here. This one is chop foul at the plate. Count remains 1-2. And Brett, you'll be glad to know the radar gun is working and in full functioning order.
I'm going to give you, this is something I rarely do, I'm going to give you some credit because
that is rare.
Whether you had anything to do with it or not, we've finally got a radar gun.
There you go. You can leave me alone until you find something else on my to-do list. This one hits a third as he slaps it the other way, and Cordero at first throws it low, and some of the defenders are going to be a little bit different here for the Skeeters. Cordero has played third pretty well when they've needed him the last few games, but you're taking Kevin Aarons out of third or Zawatsky, and now you're putting Jansen, who was very good at second, and Aarons at short, so you lose a little defense, and I don't mean a ton. Cordero is very good at third, but really primarily a catcher, but you'd certainly rather have Zawatsky or Aarons at third ideally.
Yeah, that was a routine play. After he knocked it down, still had an opportunity for an out, but then his throw was wide, and Wilkins could only knock it down.
I haven't quite scored that one a hit or an error yet. There goes the runner. The throw down to second is not in time. Great throw, but a huge jump by Costanza, and he steals second. I don't know if they're ever going to rule on that play.
It's an error.
And they're going to score it an E5. Just like that, a runner down at second with nobody out. Skeeters have not gotten good starting pitching here lately. That's an understatement. 1-0 the count here to Ryan Dent. The right-handed hitting shortstop waves and misses here. 1 ball and 1 strike to count. Let's take a look at the arsenal that Gleason brings. He has a fastball, a curve, a slider, and a splitter. So certainly enough pitches to be a starter. Gleason looks at second at Constanza and comes home. This one hit into right field and could be trouble. Barfield on the run, and he'll make a nice running catch into the corner. Tagging and going to third is Constanza. And it is a runner at third with only 1 away now. Great play by Barfield. I don't think he gets enough credit as an outfielder. Certainly not blazing speed out there, but he gets great jumps on the ball, has that cannon for an arm, and does a nice job out there, especially with the speed next to him and Miller and Benson.
He certainly covered a lot of ground. I'd like to see the StatCast route because it looked like he was in straightaway right and finished almost on the chalk.
What else do I need to get for you? I can't get StatCast for you.
I got an idea. See, the radar gun's working, but that light pole is really in my way. I can only see
I've
the
been trying to move
vision.
that thing for 6 years, and there's no place to put that giant light tower. But we have fascia boards on the left and right, and you can see it clearly.
They're out of my vantage point, too.
What about the one on the left side? Is that out of your vantage point?
I can kind of see that. The second digit's a little, so if I look at the first digit to my left
Are you done now?
and the right digit out in left center field, I can piece it together.
Wow. So hard to please, Dolan. 1-0 the count here on Tejada, and he slams this one down the right side. Look out down there. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, 1 on. No score here. Top of the first. Our relievement with the always difficult to please Brett Dolan.
That's me. Glad I could come back.
You know, Andy was a pleasure in Game 1. Now I have to
Really?
do with this, Mr. Primadonna.
Well, you only had him for 7 innings. It was very limited.
I wish I had you for 7 innings. So much less stress. One day I'm going to have to meet your wife and give her the Congressional Medal of Honor. This one is hit high in there to left center. This might not be deep enough. Miller charging, makes a nice catch, and they're going to try it. Here comes the throw. It's wide and to the right of home. And scoring here is Constanza, and it is a 1-0 York lead here in the first. That was a risky play by Constanza.
Sure was. Derek was in very shallow center with a lot of momentum behind him and really yanked the throw, and it hit the mound and was well offline.
So 2 outs. Joel Guzman will step in. Guzman, if you're watching him on video right now, he is the size of Jeremy Barfield. He is a big boy, to say the least. I mean, Barfield stands in at 6'5", 245, and he is 6'5", 250. It's like 2 power forwards going against each other. That would be nice to see. This one is low, 1 ball and no strikes. Guzman has been part of this team for a few years, and he is a terrific hitter. Gleason will have to be careful here. This one is low, 2 balls and no strikes here to Guzman. Again, the Skeeters won game 1 of this doubleheader, 8-7, and a come from behind victory. This one, a high chopper, almost artificial turf-like, and it eats up Wilkins at first. That should be a hit. That was a brutal hop. Came right at him and then took a turn. Luckily, it didn't come up at him near his face. Should be a hit. We'll see how they score that one.
Kind of let that ball play him a bit as well, though, waiting back on it. And if you're Gleason, you feel like this inning should have been over a couple of different ways, maybe 3 different ways potentially.
We'll see how they score that one here.
Second error of the inning.
Yep. So E3. Runner at first, and that'll bring in Angel Franco. 272, a home run and 8 RBIs for the left-handed hitting Franco. First pitch a strike, no balls and 1 strike. Franco in game 1 was on base 3 times, a fielder's choice, a walk, and a single. Was 1 for 3 with 2 runs scored. This one hit past Gleason and into center field for a base hit. Gleason can't get a break. Almost kick saved that one.
He tried to hit himself with the baseball. Let the ball hit him, I guess, to deaden it, but snuck right behind him and on into center.
Let's hope this is not a sign of things to come. The ball clearly not bouncing the Skeeters' way here in the first, as Travis Witherspoon will step in. The ball from Miller in center took hops to the right. A play here on Wilkins. Ball bounced from third baseman Albert Cordero. Big looping curve, stays a little bit high. 1 ball and no strikes here to Witherspoon. Witherspoon in game 1 was 1 for 3 with 2 RBIs. In fact, he was on deck, and Polino got the final out of Trienfeld. This one swung and crushed down the left side, but that way foul. 1 ball and 1 strike to count. Wind's blowing in from right center here. They were blowing in from left center earlier. Skeeters trailing 1-0 here in the top half of the first inning. Gleason trying to keep it that way. This inning has been extended. Now 17 pitches for Gleason, 11 for strikes. The 1-1 to Witherspoon. Swung and missed. 1 ball and 2 strikes to count. Good fastball there by Gleason.
Really an important sequence here for Sean. I mean, this inning could have been over, and he clearly doesn't want to allow another unearned run to start to put him behind the 8 ball, so to speak.
He set up inside, and this one swung and grounded to short. Right at Aarons. He'll go the short route to second, and that will do it. Fielder's choice will go down 6-4, but York strikes first. They get 1 run on 1 hit, 2 errors, and 2 men left on base. York 1, Skeeters coming to bat for the first time when we return. We move to the bottom of the first. Skeeters will bat here for the first time. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for your Sugarland Skeeters. Starting lineup brought to you by MemberSource Credit Union. Whether it's a Skeeters checking account, an auto loan, or a home loan, be sure to check out MemberSource's complete lineup at membersourcecu.org. Derek Miller will lead it off for the first time this season. He'll be in center. Andy Wilkins bats second and first. In right, Jeremy Barfield bats third. The cleanup hitter and shortstop Kevin Aarons. Anthony Jansanti back in the starting lineup. He'll be at second, batting fifth. It is Albert Cordero at third, batting sixth. Batting seventh, Wilfredo Rodriguez catching. Joe Benson in left bats eighth, and batting ninth, designated hitter Derek Piles. First pitch to Miller was a strike. This one fouled off 0-2.
Defensively for York, it's Robinson in left, Witherspoon in center, Mitchell in right. Third to first around the diamond, Pounds, Dent, Franco, and Guzman with a battery of Tejada and the left-hander Frank Gailey.
Gailey comes in 1-0 with a 4.97 ERA. Excuse me, 4-1 with a 1.86 ERA. So be his sixth appearance, all starts. He slings this one in sidearm. 1 ball and 2 strikes here on Miller. Derek has hit very, very well. Right now the hottest Skeeters hitter. He has hit in 12 of his last 13 games, going 15 for 39, a 385 mark. This one low and in near the feet of Miller, 2-2. Derek had the Little League home run in game 1. I think that's the first one I've ever seen here for the Skeeters.
I'm sorry I missed that.
The 2-2. Swung on a miss. Well, what you missed was he had a bunt single, and they tried to pick it up. Really had no business throwing it, because he was going to beat it out anyway, and Ryan Dent threw it past the first baseman. 2-base error. He goes all the way around to third, and then the first baseman, and that was Michael Burgess, tried to get him at third, and he threw it into the stands. So there's your Little League home run. But he had a great day anyway. He had the bunt single, a double, an RBI, a run scored. He was 2 for 3. 3-2 here. Also, very good eye at the plate. Runs the count full here. The payoff pitch to Miller, Swan, and a little blooper behind second, and that's going to fall in for another hit for Miller. Derek continues his hot hitting.
16 for his last 40 now.
Miller on. Remember, he has speed. We'll see if he goes here. Skeeters trailing 1-0 here in the bottom of the first of the Revolution. Andy Wilkins will step in. Wilkins, 265, 5 home runs, 14 RBIs. Take a little closer look at the southpaw Frank Gailey, the left-hander on the mound. Throw to first. Miller dives back in head first. Well, Gailey is 31 years old, 5'9", 190, originally from Philly, Pennsylvania. Selected in the 23rd round by the Blue Jays in 2007 at Westchester University in Pennsylvania. Another throw to first. And he throws sidearm. I don't know if I've ever seen a pitcher throw sidearm to first, as Gailey is doing here.
Yeah, he leans down off that hill to first base, and he's already on the far edge of the rubber towards that first base bag.
Gailey last 3 starts, 2-1 with a 2.50 ERA. This one fouled straight back. Did not fool Wilkins on that one. It was all over it.
So as far as Gailey, where does he make his hometown?
These days, I'm not sure. Why don't you tell me?
No, go ahead and give it a crack.
Conshohocken? It's the best I could do.
Conshohocken, Pennsylvania. You might be right. I don't know.
So I'm going with. I'm going to have to Google the pronunciation of that. I thought you were really trying to throw me for a curveball. 1 ball and 1 strike to count here. I knew you were up to something there, Dolan. You're always up to something. That one was a new one. Spell that for me one more time here.
CONSHO.
SHO, okay.
HOC.
Got it.
KEN.
Let's see if they have a pronunciation guide for this town on Wikipedia or something. This one is fouled off. I was right. Conshohocken.
How about you? Showing off.
Yeah, linguistics master.
You're lucky you can get York right.
Hey. 1 ball and 2 strikes to count here on Wilkins. See, it's an educational broadcast. We bring you some math, some grammar, some
geography.
Yeah. This one is a little high, 2-2. Let's see where Conshohocken is in Pennsylvania, suburb of Philly. Two balls and two strikes here on Wilkins. Skeeters down 1-0. This one swung and missed. Wilkins down on strikes here. 1 on and 1 out for Jeremy Barfield. Barfield has homered in 3 of the last 4 games, including game 1 here of this doubleheader. And leads the league with 9 home runs, 20 RBIs, and a .291 batting average. He is about to catch fire here. Barfield will step in here. And this is a pitcher made for him to crush. A left-handed sidearmer. Let's see what Barfield does. This one hit to the left side. Tough play. Pounds to his left. Goes to second for one. They're really to first. And the U of H product starts a DP that goes down 4-5-4-3. Unconventional 1-2-3. First through 1 inning of play. It is York. 1-0 over the Skeeters. Well, game 1 was like a heavyweight fight. Back and forth that one went. It was 3-3 after 1. The Skeeters trailed 6-4. They scored 3 in the 5th, took an 8-6 lead, and held on to win 8-7. The former Cougar from the University of Houston, Brian Pounds, to lead it off here. Takes the first pitch for a ball, 1-0. Bottom of the order here in the top of the second, Pounds, Derek Robinson, and Jared Mitchell. Is one a little bit low, 2-0. Pounds comes in 220, 3 home runs, 13 RBIs. Gleason working quickly, the 2-0. Swung and a bullet into left center field. Derek Miller going back, has got a beat on it and hauls it in for out number 1. Oh, Pounds one out to center for out number 1. Pounds usually does not get cheated. Off to a little bit of a slow start, but he can really hit the baseball. Derek Robinson will step in, the switch hitting left fielder. We're about here from the left side against Skeeters right-hander Sean Gleason. Robinson in game 1, 1 for 3 with an RBI single. Comes in 245, no home runs and 3 RBIs. 3 wide open stats from the left side. Pops this one up the left side. Will it stay in play? Benson near the stands down the left field line. Will he come up with it? Yes, he does. Out of our view, but the third base umpire, Reggie Liggins, says he's got it, and there's out number 2.
Well, he was running out of room quickly against that side wall.
2 outs and none on for Jared Mitchell, the left-handed hitting right fielder. 152 with a home run and 7 RBIs. Was 2 for 3 in game 1 of the doubleheader here today. He doubled, scored a run, and singled. 1-0 Revolution leading here in the top of the second as Mitchell steps in. This one is a fastball down the middle for strike 1. No balls and 1 strike to count. Gleason gets the sign from Rodriguez. They set up inside, and this one paints the inside corner. Fastball for strike 2. That was 91 on the gun by Gleason. Gleason can have a quick inning here. The 0-2. High and outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes to count.
It felt harder, and you just looked up at the gun. Now that it's working, that's at 94.
No doubt. The 1-2. Swung and a bullet down the third base line. That is a fair ball. Cordero couldn't even move. That one will rattle around in the corner. Around first, heading for second is Mitchell, and he'll get there standing up with a 2-out double. A 1-2-3 inning by the boards here. Well, back to the top of the order with Joe Constanza. Reached on an error by third baseman Albert Cordero and eventually came around to score after stealing a base. Steps the left-hander hitting DH, who came in at 259, no home runs and 6 RBIs. He is, as they say in Fuego, 10 for his last 25 coming into this game. In his last 6 games, that's an even 400. Debut for the Braves in the big leagues in 2011. First pitch here is low, gets away from Cordero, but no advance. Mitchell will stay put at second. 1 ball and 1 strike to count. 1-0 Revolution leading here in the top half of the second inning. Gleason takes a look at the runner at second, Mitchell, and comes home. Fastball catches the outside corner. 1 ball and 2 strikes to count. See if we can get out of this rather quickly. The 1-2 by Gleason. Swung on and missed. Chased the ball low and away. A weak wave, and that'll do it. First K of the day, and there's 3 away. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 man left on base. Middle of the second. It is still the Revolution in front of the Skeeters. 1-0. We move to the bottom of the second inning. Skeeters, after an unconventional 1-2-3 first, will send up the meat of the order 4, 5, and 6. Kevin Aarons, Anthony Jansanti, and Albert Cordero. In steps Aarons, so far 133 for the Skeeters. No home runs and 1 RBI, 2 for 15 in his first 4 games with Sugarland. First pitcher a strike, no balls and 1 strike to count. This one hit to the left side and through for a base hit. A leadoff single for the second inning in a row for the Skeeters, despite trailing 1-0. And in steps Anthony Jansanti. Jansanti came in as a pinch runner and for defense when Zawatsky got hurt. And this is the first at bat he's had in quite a while, so we'll see if that hand is completely healed. And You were here for the game when he dove into center, correct?
Right, and when he didn't get up, or he did, he was holding his hand. We were wondering if he cut it or injured it out there on the warning track, and sure enough, that was all she wrote for quite some time.
Well, in steps Jan Santi and squares the bunt here in a good one. Will it get past the pitcher? And it will. And will he beat him to the bag? Yes, and the ball gets away from the pitcher, and now taking off towards third is Aarons, and the throw there not in time. We'll see how they score. There should be a hit, because I think he was probably going to beat it out anyway, but maybe an error that allows Aarons to get to third.
Yeah, that's got to be a base hit. I was wondering if he hit the bag on the way by, because it was one of those where he was trying to lunge around the tag attempt from Gailey.
Oh, first and third, and it looks like it is going to be an error. Jan Santi, who hadn't taken a swing since May 20th, since May 12th, gets his first hit in his first at bat. Over a week's time, Skeeters in business here. Runners on the corner, nobody out. This one hit into right field. That's a base hit. 3 straight hits. Coming down to score is Aarons, and the Skeeters have tied it at 1. So Cordero gave the first run away with an error, but redeems himself with a base hit here. Nice piece of hitting. Just went the other way and blooped it into right field. First and second, still nobody out, as Wilfredo Rodriguez says the Skeeters have 2 of their catchers in the game.
So it's 8 days for Jan Santi. That injury was back on May the 12th, but he didn't even get to bat in that game. So the last time he hit in a game was May 11th.
3 singles to start it off have led to a run here, tied at 1-1 as Wilfredo Rodriguez steps in. He is hitting an even 300 early on, and the first pitch just off the outside corner. 1 ball and no strikes to count.
It's like Jan Santi's got that wrap, that guard on his right hand just to keep him, maybe if he slides, from ripping off some more skin or irritating that.
I'm sure it's not completely healed, so I'm sure he has something over that as well. They just want to strike on the outside corner, so whatever he has there and then has the guard on it should pretty much cover up the injury.
I've never understood the oven mitt that some guys wear, but that looks a little more professional.
Oven mitt? You've seen an oven mitt?
Oh yeah, they just put it on for guys that go in diving at first alive to keep their hands from getting, I guess, scuffed or ripped or stepped on.
The 1-1. A curveball stays high and outside. 2 balls and a strike here. Was pitch number 20 from Gailey. 13 for strikes, 7 for ball, so almost 2-1. In danger of giving up a big inning here. 1 in, first and second, nobody out. This one is chopped towards third. This might be 2. Pounds will step on third and hesitates before he throws to first, and he's still going to turn a double play.
He was thinking about going around the horn with all the catchers in the game at Cordero at first and Rodriguez at the plate, but when he looked to second, he didn't have a play.
So Cordero does go to second, but now the double play, 2 down. That'll bring in Joe Benson.
I mean, in the Brockmeyer finale, that's what happened. A ground ball to third. He stepped on third. He threw it around the horn.
You're ruining it to me. I didn't see the finale.
They got the triple play that they wanted.
Was it a good finale?
It was interesting. Always is.
First pitch here to Benson. This one way inside, almost hits Benson. Slider came a little too far in. A 1 ball and no strikes to count. 1-1 your score here in the bottom of the second inning. York got a run in the first. Skeeters with a run in here in the second. The 1-0. Swung and missed. 1 ball and 1 strike to count. Skeeters 1 run on 4 hits. York 1 run on 2. But again, errors plaguing the Revolution. Another pair of errors here. They lead the league in ease. The 1-1 here from the lefty Gailey. This one slung outside, misses way outside to the right-hander hitting Benson. 2 balls and a strike. That last pitch was just at 68 miles an hour. So the changeup there by Gailey. Favorable hitting count here for Benson. He's ahead 2-1. Gailey fires home, and this one a strike. Catches the outside corner. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. 1 on, 1 in. 1-1 your score here in the bottom of the second. Ira Lehman along with Brett Dolan. Andy Humphrey here as well. Gailey's 2-2 to Benson. This one swung a slow chopper right side. Benson has a ton of speed, but Franco will throw the speedy Benson out 4-3, and that'll do it. But the Skeeters get 1 run on 3 hits, no errors, and 1 man left on base. Through 2, we're all knotted at 1. We move to the top of the 3rd inning. Brand new ball game as the Skeeters have tied it at 1. So John Gleason has a clean slate. He will face 2, 3, and 4 in the order. Ryan Dent, Isaiah Tejada, and Joel Guzman. Dent flew out to right his first time up. Had to wait for the t-shirt gun, Jeep, car, whatever the transportation was to get off the field. Now everybody's ready. First pitch here by Gleason to Dent. This one a strike on the outside corner. No balls in, 1 strike to count here. Gleason, his pace here, working very quickly. This one fouled back into the right, and quickly no balls and 2 strikes to count. So what did you do during your afternoon that you took off and had to make poor Andy do your play-by-play for you? Well, what were you doing? Just chilling out, your limo driver taking you around town?
See, I thought I was helping out. No, I took my kid to his practice in the morning where he was pathetic, and then we...
wow, Father of the Year award's coming your way. So we're on a slow grounder foul up the 3rd base line.
Yeah, it's first day back.
You're yelling at umpires, and now look how you refer to your poor son.
And he comes off the field at the end of the practice. I take his glove, and I said, is this broken? Is there a hole in it? Does this work?
Wow, coming from Major Leaguer Brett Dolan. Just remember the Major League part is broadcasting, not player. Ouch. Hope you lit a fire under him at least.
Oh, I lit something, I can tell you that.
How does your son take it? Does he rise to the next level, or does he kind of get a little annoyed at you? Because I get annoyed at you. I'm annoyed at you getting annoyed at him.
Well, he's a teenager, so there's a lot of annoyance.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You got to be careful now. He's not going to deal with you anymore. I mean, I don't.
You don't have a choice.
Yeah, you wait. You keep thinking that. Teenager never answers back. They're always perfectly well behaved, always listening to dad. Guess you have the 1 in a million teenager. This one hit into left center field. That's going to be a base hit. Dent aboard. 1 on, none out for Isaiah Tejada, who drove in the first run of the game for the Revolution. The sac fly RBI. Skeeters tied it in the bottom of the second. That's where we are here. 1-1 top of the 3rd as Brett Dolan Tells us how he's going to win the Humanitarian
Yes.
Father of the Year award here in Sugar Land.
Well, a little youth practice. Watch the Astros nearly get no hit. Try to mix in a college game, A&M and Arkansas. So I'm mad about my sports. Missed the Preakness, but other than that.
Oh, if you're a betting man, who do you think is the favorite to win the College World Series?
I have not seen Oregon State, but I think they've lost like 5 games all year. So I would say that's pretty good.
No balls and 1 strike to count. Who do you think is less likely to win as the favorite, the NCAA tournament or the College World Series favorite?
Well, the College World Series, the benefit of being a national seed, one of the top 8 seeds, is you're going to be at home throughout. So you're going to be able to play the regional at home. You're going to be able to play a super regional at home. Then you get to Omaha, and you hope for a little luck there. So I think it's a little bit easier if you're one of the top teams. It doesn't always work out that way.
One swung on and hit to the right side. Wilkins will give it a chase, but I think he's going to run out of room, and he does. That one about 8 rows behind the Skeeters Dugget on the right side. No balls and 2 strikes to count. Would you say the College World Series, which you've been to, is one of the sports bucket lists you got to see if you're a big sports fan?
Yeah, I grew up around the old Rosenblatt Stadium, so the new stadium is so much nicer, much more beautiful. Downtown seats more people. It doesn't play like the old one where home runs were so prevalent. This is a graveyard.
What are they using the old ballpark for these days?
I think it's gone. No mas.
Oh, really? The 0-2, down low 1 and 2.
It had served its purpose. It was no longer really capable of hosting event or crowds of that size, but it was like some of the older ballparks. There was some history in it and some memories.
The 1-2, swung and chopped in front of home plate. Rodriguez will take it himself. The throw to first a little high. Wilkins just stabs it, reaching high for it. Put Dent at second on the 2-3 put out, 1 down. What's some of the new features of the new ballpark?
It just looks like a mini major league park. Very big. Balls do not fly out of it. It's not far from the Missouri River, and not far from the basketball facility where Creighton plays, where they've held some tournament games. But now someday I need to get to Williamsport. I need to see some games there as a fan, just to take in all the variety of the World Series.
Now that's pressure. They make your parenting look like nothing compared to that. Sweaty in the dirt gets away from Rodriguez. Going to third easily is Dent. Now runner at third with only 1 away. That should be a wild pitch. Sean Burrows, who's currently leading the league in hitting for the Bluefish. He was part of the College World Series, won back-to-back World Series in Williamsport. It's my only beef with the Little League World Series, that a U.S. team is always set up to be in the finals. Swan is swung and foul back. Should just be a big tournament. The 2 winners get there. That's it.
Well, it's still a nice honor to win for the U.S., and then, of course, you have to play another game, and sometimes you use your best pitcher to win the U.S. championship, go into that world game the next day.
But generally, you're guaranteed to have you have the 50-50 shot at a team from the U.S. to win the Little League World Series every year.
It's our World Series. We can do what we want.
Oh, yeah. So you could pick the Royals to get into the World Series every year. That would be fair.
Japan's throwing these professionals at us. I mean,
professionals? They're kids.
Yeah, they're 12-year-old professionals.
They're bad man, Dolan. Poor kids. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Gleason ready to deal the 1-2. This one Swanee hit down the right side. Guzman hit that one a ton. Count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes here.
I shouldn't pick on the foreign teams for maybe bending the rules a bit, because the 2 best stories that people think of the Little League World Series in the last decade have been cheaters.
Yes.
Denny Almonte and the Chicago Jackie Robinson Little League that was using kids from outside the area in the district and had to forfeit. So those were the 2 that come to mind.
The 1-2. This one low and in. Guzman has to fall over and jog up the first baseline to get out of the way of that one. Gleason, strike to ball ratio very good. 31 for strike, 16 for ball. So right around the 2-to-1 strike to ball ratio mark. 1-1 here in the top half of the 3rd inning. This one, just as a reminder, 9 innings. The first game was 7. This one low and in. And Gleason has lost the strike zone here momentarily. Runs a count full 3-2 on Guzman. 1 run on 4 hits for the Skeeters, 1 run on 3 for York. Wind blowing in from right center. No dark clouds, but a cloudy evening here. So on chop foul, and get it bad here by Guzman. Count remains full 3-2. So what's your top 3 things that you need to do, your sports bucket list that you haven't done yet?
Haven't done yet. You know, I clipped the Masters off that list a few years ago. I thought that was a lot of fun. That's a great question from you. That's the second compliment I've given you in about 3 innings.
I guess you're done for the year. Super Bowl, been to a Super Bowl?
Nope, I haven't. That's got to be on the list.
So on high and tight, ball 4. First free pass issued by Gleason. You've been to the World Series, I'm taking.
I have, multiples. So you've been to a World Baseball Classic. This year would have been a great year to go.
Yeah, it was phenomenal, actually. I was lucky enough to get to a Super Bowl and the World Baseball Classic in the same year. I want to go to a Stanley Cup Finals. I would like to do that in an NBA championship.
We were in Pittsburgh one night when I think they had Game 7, but it was one of those cases where, as a marginal fan, I wasn't about to pay Game 7 prices on an off night in Pittsburgh.
First pitch here is high. Runners on the corners, 1 away. Left-hander hitting second baseman Angel Franco here with the score tied at 1-1, but York in danger of taking that lead again. Run down at third, Dent with plenty of speed. This one in the dirt, gets away from Cordero. Might be a play at the plate and sliding across safely. Great slide by Dent. Man, is he fast. And it's going to be 2-1 on the wild pitch.
Well, the Skeeters have gift wrapped a couple of runs for the Revolution so far in Game 2.
So 2 wild pitches allows Dent to score. Going up to second is Guzman. Sometimes you think it's contagious on both ends. Like if you're playing a team that doesn't play good defense, which York does, you think it spills over into your end?
I think it's entirely possible. Whatever it is, also playing a couple of doubleheaders in a week probably.
Also true. In a couple of days, actually. This one gets away from Cordero. That's got to be a pass ball.
He's got to clean it up. I mean, this is a tough inning right now for Gleason. I mean, the wild pitches were wild pitches, but ones that probably could have been smothered. But that ball has to be caught.
The 2 wild pitches and what I think is a pass ball. We'll see how they score that one here in just a second.
That was a foot off the ground when that one clanked off the glove.
3-0 here to Franco. And it is a pass ball.
They're going to go ahead and put him on now, Franco.
Might as well. So technically an intentional walk, even though it was 3-0 already. Back-to-back walks here. Runners on the corners. That'll bring in Travis Witherspoon. Grounded into a fielder's choice his first time up. 2-1. York leading here, threatening for more. With runners on the corners and only 1 away. 2 runs on 3 hits for York. 1 run on 4 for the Skeeters. Gleason could really use a double play ball here. So a big swing and a miss late on that pitch.
All right, to answer your question, if I had 3 things yet to do, how about a Super Bowl, a Little League World Series, and a British Open?
British Open, huh? Why the British compared to maybe the U.S. Open?
I'd like to see the old course if it was at St. Andrews.
There you go. This one chopped towards third. That one's going to get through for a base hit. It's a 3-1 game here. And Witherspoon drives in his 8th run of the year.
Well, Gleason got the ground ball that he wanted. It was just between short and third and into left rather than right at an infielder.
Bring in Brian Pounds, who smoked a ball, line drive bullet by right to center fielder Derek Miller in his first trip to the plate. A 2-run lead here now for the Revolution. The Skeeters will have to once again play from behind. Pounds, a local product from U of H, and lives here still in the Houston area. This one high, 1 ball and no strikes to count. Teammate at University of Houston with former Skeeter Chris Wallace. They set up outside, the 1-0, a little under the hands of Pounds, 2-0.
This is a case where I think Gleason was throwing well early, but the errors in the first and the wild pitches this inning have now forced him to work with men on base, and he's getting a little bit further out of his rhythm.
It certainly is frustrating. The 2-0 by Gleason, swung and fouled off to the right side. Good hack by Pounds, 2-1 the count. So a good hit and run count. We'll see if The runner at first, or maybe both runners are moving here. Leading off second is Franco. Leading off first is Witherspoon. Bounds pretty straight up stance, a little bend in the knees and an open stance from the right side. On Swan and through the hole again for a base hit. They're going to wave around Franco, and that is dropped by Benson as he overruns the ball, and both runners will also advance. Going to be an E7 and an RBI on the base hit. Not going well here in the third for the Skeeters.
My goodness.
So 2 wild pitches, a pass ball, and now an error. And Gleason going to look back, and he's going to have not a great line score, but it's really not his fault. In fact, there was an error, 2 errors in the first inning. Now runners on second and third. With a hit here, it could be a 5-1 game.
I don't know if Benson has a shot to get Franco at the plate. He was obviously trying to scoop and throw, but then by overrunning the baseball, gives Witherspoon an extra 90 feet to third, takes away the double play by letting Pounds go down to second base.
Well, today is the 20th anniversary of the first game ever played in the Atlantic League. And Sparky Lyle, who is still affiliated with the Patriots, had a chance to talk to him. He was the manager for Somerset as they played the Atlantic City Surf. Doc Edwards was the manager of that team. And this is what Sparky had to say about that first game.
I remember driving down to Atlantic City and thinking the whole way that, well, I'm going to start off the season with a loss because they had twice the team that we had. The Surf and the Bluefish were kind of set up to be in the championship. They were the only 2 people that had ballparks back then. So everything was kind of stacked against me. But, you know, to start the game there and see Atlantic City in the background and the ballpark was gorgeous, and we end up winning the game 8-5. And my first draft choice, his first time up, hit a home run and then didn't hit one the rest of the year. So, but the best thing about it was, you know, I was with Joe Klein a whole year before that, going around to all the, you know, minor league directors trying to get this thing off the ground, and we had packages. Hey, if you release somebody, you know, send them to us, and all this and that. And Joe Klein would tell me, you know, this is what's going to happen year by year by year. And without Joe Klein, I can honestly say that this would have never got off the ground.
That was Sparky Lyle. A double here by Derek Robinson. 2 more runs in here, and this has been a nightmare of an inning for the Skeeters and Gleason. Sparky Lyle won 5 Atlantic League championships. Former Yankee great, Cy Young Award winner. This is pounded into right field. Barfield dives. Did he come up with it? No, it comes out of his mitt. And coming around to score here is Robinson. And the Skeeters getting hit hard here in the third. Great effort by Barfield.
Love the effort from Jeremy. He went into a full-fledged dive, and it looked like it tipped off his glove, and then he landed on top of the baseball. Tried to really help out Gleason by running down a scorching line drive, but unable to do so.
It'll be a double here for Mitchell, and it is a 5-run inning here for the Revolution. They lead 7-1. 6-run inning, excuse me. This one is high. 1 ball and no strikes to count.
And even with the pass ball in the air this inning, these are all going to be earnings now for Gleason. So this inning is starting to change the dynamics of this game.
Revolution have batted around as Constanzo shoots one through the left side. Another base hit. And now Benson lets this one get past him as well. And coming down to score is Mitchell. All going wrong here.
Well, the wacko meter is broken. Your radar gun works and the wacko meter is now broken. You know, Kevin Kiermaier is just an incredible defensive outfielder. Had a stretch recently at home where he kept overrunning baseballs. I think he made 2 errors in 1 game on the same type of play. Benson made 2 on the same play in the same inning.
So the 10th man to hit here is Ryan Dent, and there's still only 1 out.
There should be no RBI on that play.
This one is high. 1 ball and no strikes to count. Gleason just wants to get out of this inning and get back to the dugout. once you kind of overrun a ball, it's kind of in your head?
Again, that's a situation where the runner's stopping at third, and there's going to be no advancement. Mitchell was going to hold up, so you don't need to overrun it. Now, I know balls will snake, and you say, how does that happen? If you've ever been out in the outfield, when teams are taking batting practice, balls, they move back and forth. They zigzag. They don't come on a perfect line no matter how well manicured the lawns are, the fields are.
One low and away, ball 4. And now an 11th man what comes about here. That's the third walk of this inning for Gleason.
And here comes Gary.
Let's see if that is all for Gleason. Nope, somebody's just beginning to warm up. Unless they're done warming up. Let's see what he does here.
I think that's it.
That is going to be it for Gleason here. So Gleason cannot get out of the third after a 7 spot. Goes on the board here in the third. A 7-run lead also for the Revolution. They're up 8-1. We're going to take a break. We'll tell you all about the new Skeeters hurler when we get back here in a moment.
Andrew Johnston on out of the bullpen here in the third inning, his 15th appearance. That's a team leader, 4.73 earned run average, 13 in the third innings of work, and I guess we'll see how long Gary wants him to work tonight because he needs some outs.
He is very good at putting out a fire, and the Skeeters need a big blanket here in a hurry. And right to short, and right to second. Right on cue, AJ. Made me look very good there. A double play will end it. It'll go down 6-4. But not before the Revolution scores 7 times here in the top of the third. And in the middle of the third, they have an 8-1 lead over the Skeeters. Move to the bottom of the third inning. Skeeters in a big hole here. They are down 7-8-1 here after 11 men came to the plate and 7 runs were scored in the top half of this inning. Here at the bottom of the third, it'll be Derek Piles, who is the only member of the Skeeters who has not hit. Then back to the top of the order with Derek Miller and Andy Wilkins, 9-1-2. Here against Frank Gailey, who has not pitched that well, but now he has a huge lead to work with here. This one misses a little low and away, 1-0. Piles 217, no home runs and 1 RBI. Piles with that crouch of a stance and an open stance from the right side. The 1-0, this one is low and away, 2 balls and a strike, two balls and no strikes here.
You know, when you haven't batted yet and your team's down 8-0 or 8-1, it's a long night already.
This one a strike down the middle, 2-1.
Just feels like 8-0, even though it's 8-1.
Can't argue with you there. The 2-1. This one is just off the outside corner, and Gailey kind of leaned back like, seriously? 3-1 here on Piles. Skeeters will take any break they can get, down 7 here. This one a strike on the outside corner. That was a little further outside.
Yes, it was.
3 balls and 2 strikes now here on Piles. Probably a give back pitch there. Payoff pitch here to Piles, and this one is popped up right side. That'll make the seats. Almost hit Swatson out there. Skeeters mascot.
Swatson has some protection, some padding.
Count remains 3-2 on number 23, Derek Piles. Getting the payoff pitch to Piles, and this one swung and hit in the air. To third base, it is Brian Pounds who brings it down, and there is out number 1. Back to the top of the order with Derek Miller, who has one of the Skeeters' 4 hits. He singled to lead off the game. Thought that was going to be a good start for the Skeeters, but a strike and a double play took care of them in the first. Skeeters scored a run in the second to tie it at 1-1, but 7 runs in the top half of this inning here in the third has made it an 8-1 ball game in favor of the Revolution. Miller, .313, 2 home runs and 13 RBIs, and he really is the hottest member of the Skeeters right now. He's now hit in 12 of his last 13 ball games. Miller, who just joined the Skeeters this year, spent his entire career in the Red Sox organization after being drafted by Boston in the 23rd round in 2014 out of UT Arlington. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Skeeters trailing 8-1 here in the bottom of the third. There's one great movement on that pitch. What was that, Dolan?
That was his breaking ball. He's been throwing the changeup at a similar velocity off that outside corner to righties, and that time he brought one back in.
Kind of had a fluttering knuckle ball type of motion to it. The 1-2. On and missed strike 3. That ball faded low and away, and Miller chased it low and away. It's only the second strikeout for Gailey. 2 down, none on, except Andy Wilkins. And after putting a 7th spot up, if you put a 1-2-3 inning up, and that's momentum that might last a while. Let's see if the Skeeters can get some hit. They're down 8-1, and this is the comeback team. They certainly have 6+ innings to do it, so they could chip away slowly. And with the defense of York, can chip away, and there's a chip away as Wilkins drives it through the right side for a base hit.
Anytime left on left tonight against a guy like Gailey, even though he's not throwing hard, but he's had good movement, he's mixed his pitches well. You take that hit and you move on. You're happy not to be waving at pitches darting all over the place.
Jeremy Barfield will step in. He grounded into a 5-4-3 DP, started by Pounds at third last time up. 1 on, 2 outs. Skeeters trailing 8-1 here in the bottom half of the third inning. Southpaw, Gailey ready to deal here to Barfield. First pitch is a little bit high. 1 ball and no strikes to count. 8 runs on 8 hits for York. 1 run on 5 hits for the Skeeters, and Sugar Land has committed 4 errors. They were the best fielding team in the league coming in. They may drop a couple of spots. 1 ball and 1 strike to count here on Barfield. Gailey from the stretch looks at Wilkins at first, who has a short lead, comes home, and this one flutters low and away. 2 balls and a strike. Can you throw a knuckleball type pitch, throwing sidearm? Just kind of reverse it to the right side?
It'd be tough. Even his breaking ball is a little flatter because of the angle by which he releases.
The 2-1 just a little low, and Gailey bent over with both hands on his knees thinking, where was that pitch? I guess if you're 6'5", maybe a little bit higher. Well, the tall guys don't generally get the benefit of the call with those type of pitches usually. This one down low, ball 4. That's got to be aggravating. Up 7 runs, walking a batter.
You know, having said that, you can still pitch Barfield cautiously, even with a man on base, when you have a 7-run lead. You don't have to give into him.
So 2 on, 2 out, as Kevin Aaron steps in. Aaron's with a single his first time up, and he scored the first run of the game. Skeeters tied it at 1-1 in the second with that run, but 7 runs in the top half of this inning has made it an 8-1 game here in the third. Aaron's very straight up stance, very similar to Miller's stance from the right side. There's a big breaker that just goes around the plate off the outside corner. 1-1, 1-0, excuse me. Get you some other Atlantic League scoreboards here after this pitch. Swan swung and a foul to the right side. Skeeters won game 1 8-7 over the Revolution, trailing here 8-1. In the bottom of the 7th, the Bluefish are leading the Blue Crabs in the Battle of Blue 6-2. Barnstormers leading the Bees by 2, 4-2, and the Ducks leading 1-0 over the Patriots in the top half of the 7th. The 1-1. It's one high, 2 balls and a strike. Don't look now, but if Aaron's could reach and Jan Santi could send this one out of here, suddenly it would be a ball game again. His pitch is evening out. 27 for strikes, 20 for balls as Aaron's waves over the top of that one. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 on. Skeeters trailing 8-1 here in the bottom half of the third. Gailey a long look in here. The 2-2 here to Aaron's. This one high and outside, ball 3, 3-2. So the runners will be moving here. We have 3 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. Aaron's needs to be selective here. On deck, Anthony Jansanti. Payoff pitch to Aaron. There go the runners. This one poked into right field, and falling is Barfield. He had to duck under that one at 6-5. Coming around to score is Wilkins. Heads up by Andy, and it's a 8-2 game now.
May have been up and out, but Aaron's able to elevate, poke it over the head of Barfield, who hit the deck and nearly jackknifed in the dirt, but able to get an RBI was Kevin Aaron's.
Let's see if the Skeeters can keep it going here. Jan Santi, after now playing 8 straight games, got a single in his first at bat. Oh, Skeeters trailing by 6 now. As I said, it's still early. This one's going to get through the right side for another base hit, and Barfield going to be held at third, and the bases are loaded. And this one gets away from the catcher Tejeda, but no advance by any of the runners. That'll bring in Albert Cordero, who already driven in a run in this game with an RBI single in his first at bat. Barfield down at third, Aaron's down at second, Jan Santi on at first. I'm going to go out on a limb and say Ethan Werner back in the studio is going to have a few highlights for us.
He's going to
at
be
the end
tired
of
of
the game.
you.
Oh, now you know how I feel. Cordero, the switch hitting catcher, excuse me, third base here today, will bat from the right side. Got against the southpaw. Gailey, and he was at a 2-to-1 strike to ball ratio. Now it's getting closer to 1-to-1. This one is hit into center field for a base hit. Barfield scores easy. Here comes Aaron's. It'll be cut off, and the Skeeters back in this ball game. They've cut it in half. It's now 8-4. Cordero gets RBI number 6 and 7, and has 3 RBIs on the game.
All of this coming with 2 outs. There's bases empty, 2 gone when this started.
Yep, and a single, a walk, and 3 straight singles. Now we're going to get a visit to the mound here. This will act as a timeout. What do you say? He throws strikes. Well, that's what he's doing, but the Skeeters are hitting it.
Yeah, they aren't exactly hitting them hard, and I think that's probably the message. You say to Gailey, listen, you've been ground balled to death, and while they all add up and they compound, you know, you're still working with a 4-run lead. Get that final out, get back to the dugout, and then we'll score you a few more. That's probably the main message.
51 pitches now, and we talked about the walk to Barfield, and you say, hey, just throw strikes. You get a big lead. Well, he threw a strike, base hit to Aarons, another strike, a base hit to Jansante, another strike, and Cordero hit for a single and drove in 2.
Gailey is not an overpowering pitcher. We've seen that fastball in the low 80s, and what he's been able to do early was throw that changeup away to righties. You see that a few times, though, and you start to have a pretty good ability to be confident in your swing to hit it as long as it doesn't have that downward tilt, and the Skeeters have been able to just poke balls around and get base hits.
Well, as the Revolution has sent 11 men to the plate in the top half of this inning, Rodriguez steps in with the score now 8-4, and he will be the 8th hitter to hit here. If he reaches, the Skeeters will bat around if Benson comes to the plate. First pitch misses, 1 ball and no strikes here to Rodriguez, who hit into a double play his last time up. The 1-0. That's one high, too. And I think the thing that really impressed me with Rodriguez last year, not only did he hit a career-high 7 home runs, but goes the other way so well. 2-0 the count here to Rodriguez, and he's got to take until he gets a strike here. The 2-0 by Gailey. Swung and grounded foul. Back into the left of home, right near the York Revolution dugout on the left side. 2-1 the count.
His disposition just hasn't changed from last year's scoreboard picture, where he just looks so sad.
It's intensity.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Like a boxer at a weigh-in?
Yeah, man. Intimidation. The 2-1. Swung and chopped towards third. Pounds has it. He'll race to third, and just beating Jansante there, and that'll do it. Not before the Skeeters send 8 men to the plate. They get 3 runs on 4 hits, no errors, and 2 men left on base. A third of the way through. It's been a wild one. Skeeters trail by just 4 now, 8-4 to the Revolution. Well, we move to the top half of the 4th inning. Skeeters have inched a little closer. It's 8-4, and to keep this one rolling, it's Brett Dolan.
Rolling? Boy, you made a mess of this.
I did.
I feel like the father that loaned his son, in this case, for my analogy, his car, and you come back and the front fender's off, and there's a dent in the side panel.
You're already yelling at your own son.
Garbage in the back seat. Just
like Euchre said, this kid threw at his own son in a father-son game. That's going to be you. Brushing your son back, the home run champ here in the All-Star game a few years ago.
Can't take that from him. Here's Joel Guzman.
You'll try, I'm sure. Doesn't take out the garbage. That trophy winds up in your room. Given to him by Tracy McGrady.
Guzman has reached on an air. He's walked. He's scored a run. Andrew Johnston came on last inning and got 2 outs on 1 pitch. after the previous inning. Felt like it took about a half an hour with base runners from York, a couple of Skeeters errors, and all 7 runs. 1-1 pitch hit well to left field. Benson back. He's just reaching the track. He'll reach up above his head and make the catch in front of the manual scoreboard for out number 1. So Guzman didn't get barrel on that one, and Johnston gets out number 1. Brings up Franco, the second baseman. He's been on base and scored a run. Been on base 2 times. This is 3rd plate appearance. Skeeters' 3-run 3rd inning, though, does put them back in this game, especially if Johnston can keep it there. Franco shows bunt, takes a strike over the outside corner. You know, last night I was at Minute Maid, and they have a manual scoreboard with all the scores. And, of course, here at Constellation Field, they have the manual scoreboard for this game.
How many folks are behind the one at Minute Maid?
I don't know. It's got to be an army of at least 3 or 4 people, because you've got 15 games or 14 other games to keep track of as Franco takes one outside. But I looked up at the game in San Diego, and I see an 8 in the top of the 1st for Arizona, and you're like, what? And there's a swing and a foul back. 8 runs in the top of the 1st, and, of course, the Diamondbacks cruise to a win. But Skeeters were down 8-1 just a few moments ago, and were able to find their way back in this game. We're only in the 4th inning. Of course, these teams played 7 innings earlier today after playing last night. Little number by the mound. Charging is Aarons, will go with the bare hand. Throws to first in time to get Franco. Really, Aarons had only one play as softly as that was hit, but the ball had some funny English on it. Was able to scoop and throw to get the out.
A nice play by Aarons, one of those do-or-die plays, and it was slow enough that you pick it up bare-handed. You're probably not going to muff it. He didn't hesitate for a second. It wasn't even really that close at first.
There's Travis Weatherspoon. Drove in a run with a single in that 7-run 3rd inning. Johnston delivers a strike over the inside corner. Johnston's next one. It's a fastball painted on that outside corner for a strike. So quickly ahead, 0-2. Base is empty, 2 outs, and he misses inside. He was trying for a very quick inning. Throwing a couple of splitters here in this sequence to Witherspoon. And the lanky righty's next pitch is chopped up the 3rd base side, going foul.
Witherspoon, a pretty good balance of speed and power. He has 227 career steals and 86 career long balls.
Waiting on a 1-2 from Andrew. And that one bends down and outside. Witherspoon had 81 games last year for the Revolution. Hit 8 home runs in that span. Next pitch, he swung on it, did Witherspoon, and chopped it softly foul. 3rd base side. Eight to 4. York leading in the top of the 4th inning. The 2-2 pitch, a little looper hit out towards right. Barfield comes in and will get there to make a jump catch to end the inning. So Johnston with a 1-2-3 4th. We head to the bottom of the frame. It's an 8-4 York lead. 8 runs on 8 hits for York. 4 runs on 8 hits and 4 errors for the Skeeters. But another couple of runs this inning would make things interesting. Benson will lead off against the left-hander Frank Gailey. Came into the game with a sub-2 earned run average, a 4-1 record. Works from the far first base side of the rubber and misses outside to Benson at 84 miles an hour. Mentioned Gailey's earned run average, but really this entire York team has done a good job. There's a swing and a liner into center for a base hit. Gailey reached out for it, but it was a couple of feet to his right, and Benson singles to start the 4th inning. They have a staff comparison note in the York packet, and it has their relievers entering play at 2.96 for an ERA, and their starters 3.89. So their cumulative earned run average 3.45 is very good. It's second best in the league, and yet overall they have the second worst team record.
Well, their fielding is worst in the league as far as errors, and that ERA is impressive considering they play at the park that they do. And that is as I like to call it, the Fenway Park of the Atlantic League. So that's really impressive.
Piles takes one outside for a ball, so you would say their fielding hasn't been good and their offense is second from the bottom. But today it's the Skeeters with 4 errors and the Revolution with 8 runs, so they flipped the script in that regard.
Bizarro world.
The wacko-meter is tilting again. We need a sponsored wacko-meter out there. Somewhere near the ice
you
house.
talk a great game. Go bring me a sponsor and I'll close it for you. How is that? Do some
again,
of the
I'm
work.
the idea man. You sell it. You're the salesman. I'm the idea guy.
Well, I'm the Ira man. I don't need anymore.
There's a check swing, and on the appeal, Jim Tatum says swing. Just think about it. If you put a giant meter out there near the ice house, and every time the Skeeters had an inning where they made 2 errors.
No, you know why I'm not going to do it? Because it'll never end there. Then I'm going to have to get you sponsored. Then I'm going to have to get a sponsored limo. Then your house is going to need to be sponsored.
I told you should sponsor yourself. You should get yourself sponsored.
Am I a boxer going to have the letters written on my back?
I mean,
on my polo?
You sing, or you attempt to sing most nights here at the ballpark.
I almost got a third compliment. I was this close to a perfect night.
No. 1-2 to Piles, a ground ball punch to the right side, fielded by Franco. Spins, throws to second for an out, back to first in time, double play. That will not help the comeback cause, a 4-6-3 twin killing. You could get like a image of Gary Gaetti. You know how at college basketball games they have the giant heads they hold up behind the free throw?
He's got the little race there with Deacon and Gary and Swanson.
We'll put Gary's face out there, and every time something goes crazy, we could have like smoke come out of his ears and the wacko meter going crazy. It would be a lot of fun.
I think right now you're going to be the poster boy for the wacko meter. You're a little wacky right now.
There's Derek Miller.
I'm the one that's sleep deprived.
Pitch is high to Derek for a ball. He's leading off. Prince was scheduled to lead off, but scratched late. Aaron's moved to short. Miller moved up to that leadoff spot. Skeeters trailing 8-4 here in the bottom of the 4th of game 2 today. And Gailey floats one over that outside corner at 70 miles an hour for a strike, a backdoor breaking ball.
So all your complaining, you actually were able to read the speed of pitch right there, I noticed.
I really do have to maneuver around to be able to see it. There's a pitch in for a strike at 67 miles an hour, I think. Again, I can see the 7 to my right and the 6 to my left.
So Iowa degree really paying off for you right now.
As long as I don't reverse them.
Go Hawkeyes.
Here's the 1-2. And that pitch is a little bit low and a check swing. I tell you where it comes in handy for a radar gun. For a guy like Gailey who doesn't throw very hard at 84, 85, the difference between his changeup and his breaking ball is a couple of miles an hour. For Johnston, the difference between his fastball and his splitter was not more than maybe 4 miles an hour.
The splitter is still a fastball, just can't throw it as hard.
Ball popped up to the right. It'll be out of play into the seats. Base is empty, 2 outs at the bottom of the 4th. Skeeters trailing by 4.
Time permitting here, I have a question for you.
Uh-oh. 2-2 pitch. Misses outside.
Well, I'm going to do the unthinkable at 3-2 with 2 outs.
Okay.
But who's the one guy in Royals history, the can't-miss prospect who missed?
Right now, it'd probably be that kid, Bubba Starling, who was given $7-8 million to not play football in Nebraska. Pitch is outside, ball 4 to Miller, who walks to continue the 4th inning.
I mean, all time, like growing up.
Well, Clint Hurdle probably comes to mind.
There you go.
Right, wasn't he on the cover of Sports Illustrated?
I think so. He had a good manager. For a while, it seemed like it was going to be Alex Gordon. I mean, he didn't do a lot his first few years. He was a first rounder, wasn't he?
I think he was another Nebraska guy, right? Here's Andy Wilkins. Moustakis may have been higher as Wilkins got a base hit last inning in the 3rd with the bases empty and 2 gone. It kick-started a 3-run frame for the Skeeters.
Yep, first round, 2nd overall. Who was ahead of him, do you remember?
What year?
Let's see here. That is 2005.
2005. Gotta give me the team.
Talking about a guy who didn't live up to his potential. Diamondbacks.
Here's the 2-strike pitch, and Wilkins able to get a piece and foul one back.
And you're right. Gordon did go to the University of Nebraska.
Yeah, it made it a nice pickup for the Royals. Kind of a hometown product. Their AAA team forever has been located in Omaha.
And that was a pretty good top 7 pick that year, actually. All pretty big stars.
You know, that was the year that I was in the Diamondback system. Why am I struggling to? Was it Upton?
Yes, it was. Very good.
Breaking ball drops low and in.
So Upton was first, Gordon second, Jeff Clement, decent player.
Yeah, in fact, I know him well because he is an Iowan.
Oh, that's right.
And went to USC, and his dad runs Perfect Game. The 1-2 is way outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Wilkins.
Ryan Zimmerman was 4th that year, and then Ryan Braun, and then Tulowitzki 2 picks after that. Andrew McCutcheon was also in that round. Jay Bruce, that was quite a first round. Aaron Thompson from the Skeeters.
It's a big year.
Jacoby Ellsbury, Matt Garza. They didn't miss too many in that first round.
Ellsbury come out of Oregon State.
Let's see here.
Here's a 2-2.
Yes.
Up and out to Wilkins. Fastball. The count has gone full.
He did. Clay Buchholz later in that first round.
There's a Texan, right? Nederland, something like that.
Lufkin, Texas. Angelina College.
Miller's going to run on this 3-2 pitch. There he goes. Here's a payoff, and Wilkins will hammer one foul on the ground wide at first, skipping past Swatson up into the seats over the Skeeters dugout. So if Gordon was taken 2nd overall by Kansas City, I think Moustakis, wasn't he also a number 2 overall pick?
Yeah. It's 2 or 3. I think that was the same round as Kevin Aarons, wasn't it?
We were talking about that when Aarons was a member of Lancaster. There's a wave and a miss on the 3-2 payoff, and Wilkins K's 2 in the 4th inning. So the Skeeters get a hit and a walk, but a double play takes them out of the inning, and we've completed 4 innings. Skeeters down 4, 8-4, York in front.
Well, new pitcher on the hill for the Skeeters is former big leaguer and right-hander Brett Marshall at 6'1", 195. Marshall resides in Houston. Pitched for the Skeeters on 3 different occasions. The former big leaguer, 9 years as a pro. This season, so far, all starts. Just started a few nights ago in Somerset. 4-1 with a 6.75 ERA, 33 and a third, 31 Ks, 20 walks, 39 hits, and he started really 2 nights ago to be exact. Against Somerset, he picked up the win in a 4-3 victory. 6 innings, 3 runs, all earned, 4 hits, 4 walks, and 8 Ks. Pitched very well.
So 2 nights ago?
Yeah.
So this would basically be like a side session for him, I guess.
I guess. So maybe you're probably just going an inning here.
Andrew Johnston faced 4 batters, got 5 outs in relief of Sean Gleason. So here we go to the 5th inning, 8-4, York in front. The first pitch is downstairs to Brian Pounds, who's 1 for 2 with an RBI single. Marshall working quickly. This next one bounces in there.
Marshall originally drafted by the Yankees, 6th round 2008 out of Ross Sterling High School here in Texas.
It's kind of interesting when you think of Marshall, and you've talked about his days with the Yankees, to see him out there as a pitcher wearing number 2. Of course, last weekend was a celebration of number 2 as misses high here for ball 3. Of course, Derek Jeter, the pitch in there for a strike to Pounds.
Well, they talk about him being an all-time Yankee great. Where would you put him in that order of Yankee greats?
There's ball 4, down and out. Well, you know, he's such a beloved player from this generation, but you're talking about going up against the likes of the Babe and, you know, Lou Gehrig, and Mickey Mantle, Yogi Berra.
Yeah, that's why it's a tough question.
I mean,
is he in the top 10?
It's not top 10, but
is he in the
I
top
think he's
5?
No, I don't think so. Here's Derek Robinson.
And keep in mind, he's not in the top 5 with 3,400 hits, and no Yankee has ever even gotten 3,000.
It's true. There's a pitch that sails over the head of Rodriguez and goes to the screen. And Pounds will easily advance on the wild pitch. Well, if you'd put the Babe, Lou Gehrig, Mickey Mantle, and Yogi Berra,
DiMaggio, you
and Joe D, of course, and that's 5 right away. Next pitch from Marshall. That one is up and out, but caught by Rodriguez, and it's 2-0.
Put him ahead of his teammate, future Hall of Famer Mo. I mean, he's the all-time save leader. Jeter's got 3,000 hits.
You know, I guess you do, because you're talking about an everyday player versus a closer, but certainly Mariano the best at what he was able to do as a closer. And there's a pitch outside ball 3 to Robinson. Marshall just not sharp. Pitching a couple of nights after his last start. Pitch is a high strike at the belt given. Obviously, a guy like Reggie Jackson played for a handful of other teams, where Jeter made his entire career with the Yanks.
It's amazing. All Reggie did and all the fame he got was only 5 years with the Yankees, even though he went into the Hall of Fame as a Yankee.
There's ball 4. Robinson walks. A back-to-back walks here in the 5th inning. Jared Mitchell, the number 9 hitter, will bat.
Top 5 Royals. Got to think George Brett is your Babe Ruth, right?
Yeah, I would say George Brett, maybe Hal McRae,
Frank
White, because of he almost won something like 10, 12 Gold Gloves. Probably Brett Saberhagen.
Yep, 2-time Cy Young Award
and I'd like to put Quisenberry in there.
Yeah, I would too.
Mitchell bats lefty, shows bunted. That ball hit him, and certainly did. So 2 walks and a hit batter, and just like that, the bases are loaded with nobody out.
Skeeters just struggling to get starting pitching. Now here in middle relief.
Jose Constanza, the DH, reached on an error leading off the game, and it led to an unearned run where York got a run on just to hit that inning. Kick-started the game for them. He's also struck out, and he singled, but then went to second on a Benson error, one of 2 that he made in the 3rd inning, overrunning ground balls. Batting with the bases loaded, and he takes a pitch outside. So this is a case for Gary, where he's already seen a starter leave after 2 1/3. He brings on one of his late inning guys in Johnston to get 5 outs. Brings on a starter, Marshall, hoping to shorten the game. And there's a pitch for a strike over the outside corner. And right now, instead of maybe just a quick inning where you can get him in and out or a couple of innings, now it's bases loaded, nobody out for the top of the lineup.
13 pitches from Marshall, just 3 for strikes.
And there's a wave and a miss. And everything's gone dark here as far as the scoreboard, the side panels at the ballpark. Balls and strikes are all out of whack, so it's just kind of like wiping this game from our memory banks. Next pitch is down and out, snatched by Rodriguez.
Talking about the wacko meter, the scoreboard is flashing. Even our TV here went out.
That pitch in the dirt. Somehow it was knocked down by Rodriguez. He was looking behind him and the ball was between his legs. Otherwise, a run scores. Everybody wants to know what the count is. I believe it's full.
3-2, yep.
Costanza.
16 pitches now from Marshall. 4 for strikes and 12 for balls.
Here's the pitch, ground ball back to the mound. Fielded by Marshall, throws home, there's an out, relay throw down to first, run Rodriguez, the 1-2-3 double play. And with all the wildness exhibited by Marshall, he gets 2 outs, including the play at the plate on 1 swing.
Marshall, no panic in there. He was calm as could be, threw a perfect pitch to Rodriguez, and Rodriguez on to first for the twin killing.
So we can stand you, Costanza. Runners at second and third, however. Robinson at third base, Mitchell at second. Ryan Dent bends back out of the way of a pitch that missed badly. So if Marshall can walk this tightrope and get out of this inning with no damage done, pitch away from walking at a run, having the bases loaded, nobody out. Be a big pick-me-up for the Skeeters, and he finds the strike zone there as he pumps one over the inside corner. Two-men in scoring position. Swinging a drive to center. Miller got turned around, but he'll get back and make the catch shy of the track, and Marshall does get out of that fifth-inning mess. There wasn't a hit in the inning. There was a double play and 2 men left in scoring position. This is where that wacko meter would start tilting. But the Skeeters are halfway done. They're trailing 8-4. Going to get that sponsor.
Remember, insurance runs this year brought to you by Texas Farm Bureau Insurance. Texas Farm Bureau members get free tickets to Skeeter games on Sunday. Just show a proof of your current membership at the ticket office, and you can get 2 free tickets to any Sunday home game. Visit your local agent to become a member today.
Here's Barfield swinging at the first pitch from Frank Gailey in the bottom of the 5th, lifting it right side. There's no degree of confidence that someone's going to catch this, and Guzman dropped it, trying to make a basket catch. as Franco had a beat on it, but the problem was he ran right almost into Guzman.
The wind kept carrying that towards the stands, and a little cross up there between Guzman and Franco. That'll be the first E for Yorkie.
So instead of a quick out on Barfield with the Skeeters trailing by 4 in the bottom of the 5th, Jeremy's still alive.
77 pitches here for Gailey, 46 for strikes, 31 for balls.
And Gailey needs to get through this inning to have a chance to be a winner. If he would win tonight, he'd be 5-1. All of last year, he won 6 games. His pitch to Barfield is down and in, but he pitched well, more starting than relief. But I'm a random media guide note guy, and just something a little bit off the wall, a little bit different, something that makes you go, what? As Barfield takes one outside. So looking through the Frank Gailey bio, you come across a line in the personal section that says, often called Randy by his teammates, with no further explanation. His name is Frank. His last name is Gailey. Why would they call him Randy?
Why not? Could be called a lot worse.
I guess he could. Ground ball foul wide to third. Came out of Division II, Westchester University in Pennsylvania. Left as the school's all-time strikeout leader. A couple of major leaguers also attended that school. One, John Mabry.
Oh, wow.
Pat Kelly. Pitch to Barfield is down and in, missing.
Yankees, Pat Kelly?
I think so, 1988. Does that sound about the right time frame?
Sounds about right, yep. I don't remember that Pat Kelly was at home plate when Mark McGuire circled the bases for number 70.
3-2 to Barfield. That's down and in, ball 4. So he should have been out to start the inning and ends up working the walk. As of now, I don't know if they put an error on the board for the drop pop-up by Guzman. But if I'm Gailey, who just slammed the rosin bag down behind the hill, I'm saying, dude, I should have it out. Here's Kevin Ahrens. Ahrens 2 singles, 2 runs scored, an RBI, and he takes a pitch for a strike. We saw Ahrens, of course, with the Barnstormers when they were through town before he was acquired by the Skeeters after they lost Chris Nelson. There's a backdoor breaking ball for a strike. And think about the fact that, you know, I know things work a little bit differently in the Atlantic League as far as trades and trying to accommodate guys. But the team leading the division traded a pretty good player to the team right behind them in the division. As Aaron swings and fouls one right at the plate.
Next thing you know, York and Lancaster will be doing a trade.
I mean, you wouldn't see the Yankees, you know, the Red Sox trading somebody to the Yankees to help them out in a middle of a season. But Ahrens has fit in nicely, including here tonight. Transfer his 3rd hit of the game, and the pitch buried down and in. Tejada jumped on top of it.
Now, what you can count on one hand is the amount of Yankees traded to the Red Sox, not the other way around. You can find a slew the other way around, but very few guys traded that other way up north.
Yeah, there's a pretty famous one going the other direction, going way back. The 1-2 rocketed towards right center field. Ahrens does indeed have his 3rd hit. It's going to plug the gap and roll all the way to the advertising in right center. Barfield around 3rd will come home to score. Ahrens has made it a 3-run game. It's an 8-5 contest.
No give up in this Skeeters team, no matter what the deficit. Skeeters were down 6-2 in the 9th yesterday, and they made it 6-5 on a Barfield home run. Fell a little short today. They were down. Came back to win 8-7 in game 1 of this doubleheader, and they were trailing 8-1 here. Now it's 8-5.
And here's Jan Santi, and you talk about impressive as we see Ahrens on the YouTube video out there at second base, his uniform all dirtied from his busy day. But Jan Santi had not batted since May 11th, and he's 2 for 2 in the game already, continuing an amazing beginning of the season for this outfielder slash infielder.
Ahrens, Jansanti, and Cordero today a combined 7 for 7.
That works. Jansanti waves and misses at a pretty good breaking ball with some downward tilt. And the count 0-2. So Frank, or Randy Gailey has not been able to get the likes of Aarons, Jansanti, and Cordero.
Maybe he's got an alter ego.
He does.
I call mine Brett Dolan.
Maybe on days he pitches well, he's Frank. On days he doesn't, he's Randy. I don't know. 2-strike pitch. Jansanti chops one into the hole. Fielded by the shortstop Dent. He's going to go to third, and they're going to get Aarons with the tag applied by Pounds.
That was close. I thought he got the foot in there.
So a 6-5 play on the lead runner. It was going to be a tough play on Jansanti with his speed, and Dent just went ahead and threw to third base, so the Skeeters lose a runner at third. Here's Cordero.
I know manager Mark Mason trying to get his pitcher in line for the win, but he might not make it. 90 pitches already, and this game is now a 3-run game.
Leaking some oil. Here's Cordero batting righty, and the pitch bobbled and dropped by Tejada. The two catchers have had a devil of a time just cleanly catching balls tonight. And it's 1-0. Cordero smashes one to third, fielded by
Nathan, you there?
Isaiah Tejada will lead off the top of the 6th inning, and he pops one to Jansanti at second. Marshall back out there for a second inning. Skeeters trailing 8-4. 8 runs on 8 hits for York. 5 runs, 10 hits, 4 errors for the Skeeters in a bizarre game in which York led 8-1. Skeeters have made this a 3-run contest, but they lost a man at third last inning, and then when our system kind of popped, we had a double play off the bat of Cordero to end the inning. But Tejada has been retired. And here is Guzman. He was 0 for 2, but he's walked and scored a run, and he takes a ball from Marshall. Marshall working quickly, and he pumps in a strike. This is game 2 of a twin bill. These teams played a 7-inning game at noon. As Marshall misses down and out. So right now, pitching a little bit of a premium considering all the guys that have had to work in these last handful of days, including a doubleheader on the road in Somerset. Scoreboard's working in the ballpark. Our radio box is working as Guzman will swing and miss. Bullpens have been working. I think we're all back on track. I don't want to jinx anything. There's a pitch that just propels wildly by Rodriguez to the screen. Canna's gone full to Guzman. A couple of home runs on the year, and he's going to swing a fouled one off Rodriguez and stays alive.
Luke Westfall, the lefty, warming up in the Revolution bullpen.
Haley got through his 5 innings with the lead, although no longer a comfortable one. Here's a payoff and a late swing and a breaking ball by Guzman. He gets a piece to foul one back. Next one on the way, rolls in there, and Guzman hits it a mile in the air, left side of the infield, backing up his errands, now drifting to his left and makes a one-handed catch off to the side for out number 2. So Marshall, when he came on, he had a walk, then he threw a wild pitch over the head of Robinson, another walk, a hit batter, bases loaded, nobody out. He had thrown 16 balls and 4 strikes, then he got a 1-2-3 double play. Got Dent to fly out to center. He's had a couple of pop-ups this inning. Here's Franco. So Johnston, when he came on, faced 4 batters and got 5 outs. Over the last 4 batters Marshall's faced, he's recorded 5 outs. Franco just ran up in the box, kind of gave up on the pitch, but it was called a strike over that outside edge.
Marshall trying to even out his pitch count. Now 15 for strikes, 17 for balls.
Think about that as he misses downstairs. If he gets Franco here, he'd have more balls than strikes, but 2 hitless and scoreless innings. Marshall's fastball right around 86 tonight. That one looked like it was right down the middle. And Marshall can't believe that missed, so the count's gone to 3-1. That pitch spins Franco around and
got a piece of him.
Clipped him. So a runner with 2 outs.
They're calling it a walk. Didn't they got a piece of his shoulder?
I didn't think so. I thought it just spun him around.
Sixth walk of the night for Skeeters pitching.
Here's Witherspoon. He rolls one softly foul over near the Revolution dugout. Runner at first, 2 gone, top of the 6th inning, a flip to first. Franco back and diving. Skeeters have activity going in their bullpen now. Marshall is the 3rd pitcher used already tonight, and we're in the 6th.
Another starter in the bullpen for the Skeeters. That's Michael Nix warming up in the Skeeters pen.
Wave and a miss by Witherspoon. You get the feeling that Gary's worst fears, not having his starters throw a bullpen so they might be available for an inning here or there, has kind of come to fruition.
You got to worry about the day-night doubleheader they have coming up on Tuesday.
Eventually, we'll turn our concern to Mother Nature maybe in the next couple of days. But in the meantime, right now, the Skeeters need to get out of this inning. There's a ball that squirted through the legs of Rodriguez, goes behind him. It will advance Franco into scoring position.
This has been a sloppy played game as Marshall grabs the comebacker behind his back. That's pretty nifty.
That's the one clean catch we've seen in a while.
No lie.
See if that's a pass ball or a wild pitch on Rodriguez. Regardless, the count 1-2.
I'm going to say wild pitch.
I might say pass ball, but I've been surprised a few times tonight. Skeeters trailing 8-5 here in the top of the 6th. Breaking ball rolled to third, and it is fair and past Cordero into the corner. Scoring is Franco on a double from Witherspoon. Revolution have added to their lead. It's 9-5.
It was a wild pitch, and that wild pitch now allows Franco to score.
Comes an earned run. Here's Brian Pounds.
A little deflation there. They just cut it to 8-5.
There was, and the first 2 outs recorded quickly for the walk, the wild pitch, and the double. And Pounce will take a strike from Marshall. Skeeters still have more hits than do the Revolution, but they're trailing 9-5. Here's an 0-1. Slider, the breaking ball's downstairs. Revolution did have a 7-run inning. That was back in the 3rd. 1-1 pitch lifted high and foul down the right field side. Wilkins is in a full sprint. He gets to the corner where the seats bend out a bit, but it's about 8 or 9 rows up into the seats. That's great effort from Wilkins on a ball that, at least off the bat, didn't look like it had a shot to stay in play. So Marshall in his 2nd inning. Remember, he started just a couple of nights ago. The 1-2 lifted high in the air to right center field. It's kind of that dusk twilight time right now, but Barfield fortunately sees the ball because I don't. He makes the catch. He was the one that needed to see it. A run for the Revolution. 5.5 complete. It's 9-5 York. Another lefty, different pitcher coming on for the Revolution. Here in the Skeeters' 6th inning, it's Luke Westfall.
Westfall will take over here. Take a closer look here at Luke, 6'3", 230. Originally from Wisconsin, still lives there. He's been as high as AA in Fort Myers, and he's going to take over here, get you his numbers here in just a moment.
He's from the town of Clintonville, Wisconsin, population 4,500, not too far from Green Bay, former Wisconsin Oshkosh pitcher.
Here's his numbers. 1-1, a 174 ERA, so it'll be his 12th appearance. He does have a save, 10 and a third, 13 Ks, but he has walked 8, allowed 10 hits. Last time out against the Ducks on May 17th in a 6-3 loss. He went an inning and a third, no runs earned or otherwise, 2 hits, no walks, and a strikeout.
He's going to face Wilfredo Rodriguez, the 7, 8, and 9 hitters here in the bottom of the 6th inning. We've gone off the rails a little bit tonight, but everything else has in the stadium and over the radio. But I mentioned Westfall pitched at Wisconsin Oshkosh. Here's a pitch down and out. And my very first job coming out of school was
Oshkosh Bagosh?
No, it was not. It was Wisconsin Platteville basketball. Bo Ryan, the coach, went on to Wisconsin. But it was in this conference with Oshkosh, Eau Claire, and Whitewater, a few other Wisconsin schools. Duluth, there's a swing and a miss. But at that time it was called the WSUC. In other words, the W suck. So they changed it to eventually someone said, you know what, branding, that probably doesn't work. It became the Wisconsin Intercollegiate Athletic Association, the WIA.
I think they need an acronym for that, like SHIELD from the Avengers.
Here's the 1-1. That pitch low and inside, 2 balls and a strike. Skeeters trailing by 4. At one time they were down 8-1 in this game. Rodriguez 0 for 2 facing the left-hander Westfall, and there's a swing and a foul back to the right. You got a chance this year to go to the World Baseball Classic. Did you go to both San Diego and LA?
I did.
So my 73-year-old father, a lifelong Dodger fan, has never been to Dodger Stadium.
That's right, you were telling me about that. He just went finally?
He's there tonight.
Nice.
Here's the 2-2 to Rodriguez. That one's outside. The count's gone full. So yesterday they were in my sister's with him. They went to Petco and saw a game at San Diego. The game in which the Diamondbacks scored 8 in the first. And tonight he's at Dodger Stadium for the first time as a lifelong Dodger fan at the age of 73. Enjoying Chavez Ravine, I hope. Here's a payoff pitch. That's outside and back to the screen, so ball 4 to Rodriguez. And boy, catchers, I use that term loosely tonight because half of the evening they've spent racing to the backstop and picking balls up.
More like chasers instead of catchers.
Yes. There's Joe Benson, who's 1 for 2, but hopefully he's having a good time at Dodger Stadium and enjoying kind of that one area of peacefulness in LA, Chavez Ravine.
I don't think I've ever heard anyone use peaceful and Los Angeles in the same sentence.
That's the beautiful part, right? Downtown LA is not far behind you, but you're in the ravine. You look out at the hills, and it's quiet. It's peaceful. There's no freeway that you can hear. As Benson takes one down for a ball. One of the first times I was there, Vin Scully was coming out of the dining room. So, I do the roadblock. I jump in front of him like I'm taking a charge. Whoop, sorry, you can't get by me. And we're going to have a mound visit here, allowing me to expand upon this point. And I was talking to him, and he goes, how do you like? I said, it's my first time here at Dodger Stadium. And he goes, well, look out behind the center field fence. And at that time, it was kind of the dusk and twilight, a little bit like what we have here when outfielders have difficulty seeing the ball. But the hills behind the ravine were a special shade of green with the light reflecting off them at sunlight, and he goes, doesn't it remind you of Purple Mountain's majesty? And the way he said it, and I'm like, I think you're right. That's very poetic, Vin.
67 years, you can get a little poetic here and there.
He said, this is my favorite time of night at this ballpark, and I said, I could see why.
And then he said, who are you?
And he said, excuse me, but I'm done with my waffles, and I need to get to my booth. Here's the pitch to Benson. And he takes a strike over the outside corner from Luke Westfall.
Why was Vin Scully eating waffles? Was it a dig in?
I just threw that in there. He has his own special dining room.
That's so awesome. So he gets to order whatever he wants?
I think they catered pretty well to him as Benson takes ball 2 down and in.
They cater to you, Brett Dolan?
Not to that level. Not
but
to
they
that
do
level.
cater to you.
Maybe, but not. I don't have a private dining room or anything.
Not yet.
Here's a 2-1 to Benson. wave and a miss over the top of that one.
I suppose you want a sponsor for that as well. I don't even have a room for an extra dining room here for you. So if I get a sponsor for you, you'll have to eat it outside. Take it outside, buddy. Nothing to see here.
Very short lead for Rodriguez, all of 3 feet at first base. Benson waves and misses. Goes down on strikes. Ball wasn't caught cleanly by Tejada, but he doesn't have to with a runner at first. Benson K's, and that's the first out. Here comes Derek Piles, the number 9 hitter, the DH. Whatever the case, it's always pretty good weather in San Diego or LA, and you.
Oh, it is. It was actually the coldest I've ever seen it in San Diego when I was there.
I would say March, yeah,
chilly.
You've got the
It's 55.
possibility. There's a ball hit out into right field. Coming on is Mitchell to track it down. He's going to snap a throw back to first. But Rodriguez able to get back, and there's 2 outs. You didn't happen to see what the temperature and wind chill was yesterday in Chicago on the north side, did
It's
you?
like 35.
With the wind chill, it was 37 degrees at Wrigley. And it's late May. As Derek Miller comes in, top of the lineup. Skeeters down 4 here in the bottom of the 6th. Derek has singled and walked and struck out in the game. And the pitch is a strike on the outside edge.
Westfall, who never made it to the bigs, apparently finds the toughest batter along the way he ever faced was Alex Bregman of the Astros.
Fastball over, but a little bit low.
When he was in Minnesota's organization. I was impressed by Bregman in the World Baseball Classic, I'll tell you that.
One to Derek and a wave and a miss. He's had a slow start, but
It's also tough to get him regular playing time.
it was in the WBC. But how about the fact that wearing number 2, he hit the grand slam on last Sunday night, on the night that they retired number 2 for the Yankees.
That was the reason he was wearing number 2 to begin with.
That's right. Miller waves and misses. Boy, Westfall had some pretty good stuff. Able to work around a leadoff walk. Skeeters do not score. We've completed 6 innings. York still up 9-5 over the Skeeters. Hey, just like that, we go to the 7th inning. New broadcaster, new pitcher to tell you all about it. Here's Ira.
Thanks, Brett. Now, Michael Nix, second straight starter in here for the Skeeters, number 27, 6'5", 235, now a Sugar Land resident. Originally from Auburn, Alabama, went to Auburn University. He's got a size AAA, 12 years as a pro. This season so far, 2-4, 3.89 ERA, 6 appearances coming in, all starts. His first relief appearance here. 32 1/3, 27 Ks, just 10 walks, and 28 hits. Last time out, 5 innings, he picked up the victory. No runs earned or otherwise. 4 hits, 2 walks, 2 Ks. The start before that was a little rough. Went just 2 innings, allowed 6 earned runs on 4 hits and 4 walks, struck 1 out. Of course, Nick's the only player in Skeeters history to be part of all 6 seasons. Well, here in the top half of the 7th inning, it'll be Robinson, Mitchell, and then back to the top of the order with Constanza. Instead of switch hitting Robinson, who is 1 for 2. He has doubled, walked, and drove in a pair. Also scored a run, and this one is high and outside. No, called the late strike. No balls and 1 strike to count. Skeeters trailing 9-5 in this one, and this one a base hit into right field. So not a good start for Nix.
What is an all hands on deck night for the Skeeters with Marshall and Nix, 2 starters, both coming on. Remember, Marshall ended up giving up the 1 run, but made the first 3 runners reach against him before he was able to navigate out of trouble in the 5th, and Nix gives up the hit to the first man he faces.
Mitchell is 2 for 2. He's been on base all 3 times. 2 doubles, a hit by pitch. He has driven in a run and scored a run. In steps the left-handed hitting Mitchell. The right fielder came in at 152 with a home run, now 8 RBIs. First pitch here by Nix, a strike on the outside corner. 87-mile-an-hour fastball. No balls and 1 strike to count. Nix features a fastball, curve, splitter, and a cutter. All teams with 10 hits apiece. Skeeters trailing by 4, 9-5. Still a lot of time left. Throw over to first by Nix. Diving back in is Robinson. Tomorrow in the finale in this one, it'll be Skeeters right-hander Jake Hale, who's really been the most consistent starter. Hale 3-1 with a 2.36 ERA. He will face fellow right-hander Steve Janis, 1-3 with a 5.32 ERA. The 0-1. This one is inside. 1 ball and 1 strike to count. You hate going into Game 4 hoping to get a win just to split the series. So the Skeeters could come back here. They would have a chance at taking 3 of 4. That's what happened in Somerset. The Skeeters were shut out in both of the first 2 games. 16 scoreless innings. Then took Game 3 and 4. The 1-1. There goes Robinson. The throw down to second is in time. Caught stealing, proving once again crime doesn't pay. Great throw by Rodriguez. Well, caught stealing. There's 1 away. 2-1 the count here on Mitchell. Robinson a very slow trot off the field. Seen pimping a home run, but pimping a caught stealing is something else. Pretty good crowd on hand here, 5,346. Swan is fouled off to the left side. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Take a look at the Atlantic League scoreboard here in a moment. Should be a couple of finals. The 2-2 coming here from Nix. He winds and delivers, and this one is low 3-2. Nix wears number 27 out there on the hill. Nix split last year between the Mexican League and the Skeeters. This one swung and missed strike 3 as Mitchell waves at a ball low and away, and there's the first strikeout for Nix. Let's take a look at that Atlantic League scoreboard now. In Game 1 of this day-night doubleheader, York lost to the Skeeters 8-7. York leading here 9-5. Bridgeport final beat Southern Maryland 10-3. Barnstormers beating up on the Bees 7-2, top of the 7th. And finally it is the Patriots with a 3-2 lead here over the Ducks. That one's in the bottom of the 9th. Somerset just a few outs away. First pitch here, hammered off the fist by leadoff hitter Jose Constanza. No balls and 1 strike the count here. Constanza reached down an error, struck out, single, and hit into a double play last time up. Officially 1 for 4 with a steal and a run score. The 0-1, this one hit the other way. Backing up at third, Cadera stabs it to his left, fires it to first, a little wide, but Wilkins stays on the bag, and that'll do it. Unconventional 1-2-3. 7th inning stretch time. Get your peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I do care if you never come back. Skeeters trailing by 4, 9-5. We move to the bottom of the 7th inning. I hope you're all stretched out. Nathan Warner is stretching out in the studio as we speak, running the show tonight. Andy Wilkins to lead it off here in the bottom of the 7th. The Skeeters trailing by 4-9-5. This one fouled back into the left. No balls and 1 strike. Wilkins, Jeremy Barfield, Kevin Aarons, 2, 3, and 4. Skeeters still have 3 innings down, 4 runs. So still plenty of time left. Wilkins today 1 for 3. He has singled and struck out twice. Lefty-lefty matchup here for Westfall. The 0-1, this one hammered foul down the left side, 0-2. After the Skeeters play the Revolution for the final game of the series tomorrow in the 2 o'clock afternoon contest, they will play Somerset for 3 games in 2 days, including a day-night doubleheader. The 0-2 here by the southpaw. Swung and right back to Westfall. Nonchalantly stabs it to his right. He'll throw it to first high, but coming down on the bag is Guzman, and there's out number 1, and nothing easy tonight, Brett.
No, that's an understatement. Although things have calmed down a bit after that crazy beginning, but I don't think we're quite done with some of the oddities.
Jeremy Barfield has grounded into a double play and then walked twice. He's also scored 2, so he's 0 for 1. 291, 9 home runs, 20 RBIs for Barfield. Maybe Barfield can jumpstart this offense with a homer here. First pitch to Jay Barr. This one, big swing and a miss. He was looking for the home run there on that swing. One of his famed gorilla hacks.
Boy, that was a hack.
1 strike.
And the force of his swing carries him across into the other batter's box.
The 0-1 here by the lefty Westfall. Big swing and a miss there, 0-2. He's not getting cheated, that's for sure. When a guy like Jeremy's strength, I know a lot of guys don't like to choke up these days, but I think a guy like him choked up, I don't think he would lose an ounce of power with the torque he gets on a swing. Bounces that bat off his back shoulder. The 0-2. Swung a hit to the right side, to the left of Franco. Gets there in time and throws out Barfield. 4-3 in the putout, and there's 2 down. Westfall has brought some law and order to this one.
Certainly has, and while he walked the first guy he faced, he's gone 5 up, 5 down since. And what's a little bit unusual is the fact that Mark Mason doubled up on his lefties, replacing one, the starter, Gailey, who went 5 innings, with another one in Westfall, and it's worked out nicely.
Well, in steps the cleanup hitter Kevin Aaron's having a perfect night. He is 3 for 3 with 2 singles, a double, 2 runs scored, and 2 RBIs. Skeeters trailing 9-5 here in the bottom half of the 7th inning. First pitch here to Kevin. This one swung and fouled into the net to the right of us. No balls and 1 strike to count. And a couple years ago, the Atlantic League mandated the nets go all the way from dugout to dugout, and Skeeters owner Bob Zlotnick decided he would be the first to do it. It really is a safety feature. No balls and 1 strike to count as Westfall wants a new sign, and he gets it. They set up inside the 0-1, swung and fouled straight back. Good hack there by Aaron's.
It was, I think, 2 days ago at Wrigley where back-to-back pitches, one of the Cubs hitters, I don't know who it was, Baez was on deck. Both of them went flying into the net above the on-deck circle, and without a net, of course, would have gone right into the crowd, taking somebody with them.
When I watched baseball in Australia, they had nets all the way around because the action was much closer than it is here. This one is hit to the left side, so no real chance of catching a foul ball, but I mean, you had to have it there. Although, as somebody who likes marketing, I really love what the Tokyo Dome did during the World Baseball Classic. Those seats on top of it, instead of saying, hey, you know, be careful, it's dangerous down there, they call it excitement seats. They gave you a mitt. As soon as you got there was a mitt on your seat and a helmet. So kind of taking a different spin on it.
What happens if you take the helmet off?
The 0-2, then you're on your own if you get hit in the head, I suppose.
I suppose, right?
1-2 the count here on Aaron's. We get some excitement seats down the right field and left field line here.
There's some ballparks, and I forget where, that will rent gloves out to fans that they don't want to bring one to the game, but want to have one in case a foul ball comes in their direction. And it has a little chip in it. You put your credit card down, and when you return it in the bin, it automatically checks it back in. If you forget, you can bring it back in a couple of days later, so you don't get charged for the full price of a glove.
Well, that's pretty interesting.
That's different.
Yeah. Where's that?
I've read so many Baseball Americas in the last week, it blurs together, but I'll figure it out. I'll find out.
Since when can you read? The 1-2. Swung and a bullet. Now on past Westfall into center field for a base hit. The hits keep on coming here. 11th hit of the night for the Skeeters, down 9-5 here. They're bringing Anthony Jansanti in his first game back in over a week. Is 2 for 3 with 2 singles. Skeeters down by 4. They have committed 4 errors tonight. Westfall really throwing strikes here. 20 of 28 for strikes. First pitch here to Jansanti is down low, 1-0. Jansanti actually played in the perfect game. Had him on the broadcast on the road while he was healing up, and he used to leave seats while a member of the I-Cubs for Ronda Rousey every night. Made Sports Center, Sports Illustrated. Said it must have been a slow news night, he agreed. Two balls and no strikes to count. There's one big swing and a miss there. I asked him, would you like to go to one of her fights? And he said, no, I want to take her out on a date.
It's an honest man.
Said it kind of started as a joke in the clubhouse. The 2-1, this one fouled off to the right side. Took a page out of the book of Jerry Glanville. He used to leave it for Elvis.
That's right. I don't think he was ever going to take
I don't think he ever claimed that.
Glanville up on that offer.
Ricky Bobby leaving it for his dad. Was it Reese Bobby? He finally claims it and he scalps him at the end. That was hysterical. So it's one and hit foul down the right side.
I think Daniel Nava, when he came over the Red Sox, used to leave him for maybe Aaron Andrews or somebody like that. But, you know, they changed the ticketing policy, at least in the majors a few years ago, where players started to get taxed on the tickets. So no longer was it a freebie. Whatever the value of the ticket was, you were taxed, came out of your check. That probably changed a few people leaving tickets.
Yep. This one hit to third. They go to second for one. And that will do it. Short match to second, fielder's choice. Goes down 5-4. No runs, one hit, no errors, and one man left on base. We are through 7. It is still a 4-run lead for York. They're up 9-5 over your Sugar Land Skeeters. Michael Nix will begin his second inning of work here as we move to the top half of the 8th inning for the Revolution. Here against Nix, it'll be 2-3-4. Ryan Dent, Isaiah Tejada, and Joel Guzman. Nix an unconventional 1-2-3 inning last inning. This one high and outside, 1 ball and no strikes. Dent was on base twice during that 7-run third. He singled and walked. He's also flied out twice, so he is 1 for 3 officially. This one swung and foul tipped in and out of the mid of Rodriguez. 1 ball and 1 strike to count. Nix right now 12 pitches, 8 for strikes, 4 for ball, so exactly 2-to-1 strike to ball ratio. 1-1 the count here on the leadoff hitter here in the 8th, Ryan Dent. This one is a strike on the outside corner. 1 ball and 2 strikes to count. A rare slow stance these days for Dent. The 1-2. Swung and chopped. High chopper to third. Behind the bag is Cordero. The toss across low, and Wilkins can't scoop it out of the dirt. See if they score that in E5. So that'll be the 5th error of the night for the Skeeters.
Well, it looked like Wilkins had a pretty good beat on it to scoop it. Then the ball just kind of squirted loose at the end.
1 on and none out here. I'm going to bring in Isaiah Tejada.
And it is the 5th error.
Second one of the night for Cordero. A 1 on, none out as Tejada steps in. Made 2 outs. Actually, he made 3 outs in the 3rd, and he batted twice. Ground ball out in a double play.
That's right, and this is a guy who came into the game having reached base safely in 17 straight games, but not tonight.
In danger of that streak coming to a quick end here. Probably his last at bat, the 1-0. This one is a strike at the knees. 1 ball and 1 strike to count. Game in at 341, 5 home runs now, 16 RBIs with his sac fly here tonight. The 1-1 here by Nix. They set up inside, but first he's going to throw it to first. Chase back Dent, who's got plenty of speed. Blowing out towards right center a bit. Long look in here by Nix, and then finally Tejada has enough. He asked for time. Now everybody appears to be ready. Tejada has hit in 5 straight as well. The 1-1. This one in the dirt. 2 balls and a strike here. Spend time in the Yankees and the Braves system. Last year with York, 356, 9 home runs, 38 RBIs in 65 games. The 2-1 coming here from the Skeeters right-hander Michael Nix. They set up outside. This one swung and missed. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Good pitch there by Nix. 9 runs on 10 hits for York. 5 runs on 11 for the Skeeters. The 2-2, this one chopped foul to the left and right near on-deck hitter Joel Guzman.
Nix has had some success with that splitter tonight. That one, Tejada was able to just get a piece and chop it foul to stay alive.
Nix peeks over his shoulder at first at Dent. The 2-2. Inside, they'll run the count full 3-2. Skeeters down by 4-9-5 here. They will have 2 more cracks at it, so come back certainly within possibilities. Nick's taking a lot of time between pitches here. Nick's a quick worker, so he's not at his best. There goes the runner as this one is fouled off, so Dent will have to come back. We'll do the 3-2 at least once more here. On June 9th, the Spasmatics will come in here for the 2nd year in a row, one of the nation's most popular 80s cover band. If you'd like to get tickets, call 281-240-HITS or log on to sugarlandskeeters.com. Payoff pitch, swung and nubbed. It's going to be Rodriguez. Skeeters catcher will throw it to first on a 2-3 putout, and there's 1 down. Dent moves down to second, however. That'll bring in the 6'5 Joel Guzman.
So Tejadas had 2 of those little dribblers in front of the plate. He nearly had that ball run behind him and hit his shoe or the back of his heel. He outran it barely, but Rodriguez got him at first.
Last up's Joel Guzman, who is 0 for 3. He has reached base twice on an error by first baseman Andy Wilkins and then walked. He's also scored a run. And now Nix and Rodriguez not on the same page. He's going to go out to talk signs and probably changing signs with the runner down at second, Dent. Guzman always a pretty big threat. First pitch coming here from Nix to Guzman. This one a fastball strike on the outside corner. 85-mile-an-hour heater. Guzman steps back in. No balls and 1 strike the count. 1 out, 1 on. Skeeters trailing by 4-9-5 here. There's one way inside. It's 1 ball and 1 strike with 1 down and 1 on. Nix. Not good when he's taking this much time. The 1-1. Big swing and a miss. 1 ball and 2 strikes to count. Guzman made it to the bigs with the Dodgers in 2006, then the Rays in 2007. Last year for these Revs, he hit 278, 16 home runs, 85 RBIs.
Well, there was a time he was at the very top of some of those prospect lists on his way up through the Dodgers system.
He was number 1 at one time in 2005. Swung and missed here. Strike 3. And there's the second out. Second strikeout as well for Nix. There's 2 down. And is this going to be off for Nix here? Yeah, middle of the inning. Gary Getty is going to make a change here for some reason.
May have been an issue with just number of pitches he didn't want him to throw, or a number he reached. Chris Tribett, I think, has been warming up in the bullpen.
We'll take a break as Tribett comes in. We will go out. Skeeters down by 4, 9-5. 2 outs and 1 on. Back in a moment.
Chris Tribett becomes the 5th pitcher of the night used by the Skeeters, making appearance number 6. Tribett has 4 decisions in his 5 appearances. He's 1-3. ERA more than 7.5, and he's thrown beg your pardon. I'm on the wrong line. That's what type of number it is. This is appearance number 6, a 6.75 earned run average, 5 runs and 6 2/3 innings of work.
Oh, the 30-year-old Tribet, number 31, 5'11", 185 from Collinsville, Oklahoma. Oh, there's plenty of friends and family who listen in Oklahoma, so a big hello to them as well as the rest of the friends, fans, and family of the Skeeters. Third stint with the Skeeters. 5 years as a pro for Tribet. We will face left-handed hitting second baseman Angel Franco, and the first pitch here is a strike. No balls and 1 strike to count. Tribet, the sub-side armor, as I like to call him, kind of a combination of submarine and a side armor. He doesn't object to it, Chris. Chris, a lot of fun. Features a fastball, slider, and a sinker. The 0-1, this one floats upstairs for a ball, 1 ball, and no strikes to count. Last pitch at 70 miles an hour. Tribet gets a sign he likes. Looks like an upside down L from the stretch as he bends straight over and his upper half parallel to the ground. 2 balls and a strike here. The 2-1. This one swung and foul, tipped into the mitt of Rodriguez. I guess he might as well be an upside down L when you have a broadcaster named Liebman, huh?
He could be.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runner down at second. And Ryan Dent. Skeeters down 9-5. This one hit to the right side under the glove of Andy Wilkins. It's going to bring around a run as Dent crosses the plate, and it's a 5-run lead, 10-5. Well, Franco gets his 9th RBI of the season. Been on base 4 times tonight, 2 singles and 2 walks. We'll bring in Travis Witherspoon. Witherspoon is 2 for 4 with a double, a single, 2 RBIs, and a run score. In steps the right-handed hitting center fielder. 234 with a home run and 7 RBIs. See if we can get some finals here in the Atlantic League. Here's one outside, 1 ball and no strikes to count. The Ducks come back to beat the Patriots 4-3. That one a final. Bridgeport beats Southern Maryland 10-3. Skeeters won game 1 8-7, losing 10-5 here in the other game. Is the Barnstormers beating up on the Bees 8-3. The Skeeters lose this one, it'd be 2 games out of first. The 2-0, this one a strike down the middle, 2-1. Tribet went to Rogers State University and Northeastern State University. This one low and away, 3-1. Actually a split time between the American Association and of course here in the Atlantic League. Combined 2-2 with a 5.03 ERA. Hot shot down the third base side. Diving stop by Cordero. The throw to first is airmailed, and Wilkins not able to get it. That'll put the runner down at third. What a great stop by Cordero. Just couldn't get an accurate throw off.
Unfortunate for Cordero because he made such a great play, but by the throw going into the stands, it'll be error number 6, and he has half of them.
Runners on the corners, 2 on with 2 out. We'll bring in Brian Pounds.
Witherspoon does get the infield hit, but then the error on the overthrow.
Runners on second and third here. This one floats over the outside corner. No balls and 1 strike. Pounds is 1 for 3. He has been on base twice with a single, a walk. He's also driven in a run, scored a run. The 0-1, this one high and outside. A 1 ball and 1 strike to count here. Tribit looks at second, fires it home, and this one is hit high in the air. As got Pounds to get underneath that one, way out in front. Benson in left underneath it, and he'll bring down the final out. Well, another run comes across here, and in the middle of the 8th inning, it is now a 5-run lead for the Revolution, 10-5 over the Skeeters.
Revs have their third pitcher of the game into the contest. It's Michael Click, the right-hander. He's made 10 appearances and no decisions or saves, a 1.74 earned run average. Click's hitting only 176 against him.
Click is 28 years old. Familiar name. I'll get to why in a minute here. Number 12 is 6'3", 210. And should get into some kind of PR or broadcasting later on in life. He is from Media, Pennsylvania. He will pitch here, and he will throw to Cordero, Rodriguez, and Benson. 6, 7, and 8 here. Went to Temple University, was never drafted. Spent time with Windy City in the Frontier League, Lincoln in the American Association. This is his 4th year in the Atlantic League. Played for Camden in 2014 and 2015. Had a great year in 2015, 5-1 with a 197 ERA, 58 appearances, all out of the bullpen. Last year with the Revolution, 7-3, but a 5.25 ERA, 1 save in 48 appearances. First pitch to the switch hitting Cordero, a strike, no balls and 1 strike to count. While he was growing up, he played with Kane Callis, son of Hall of Famer broadcaster Harry Callis. No balls and 1 strike to count here to Cordero. Of course, there's a Callis here in the Houston area now.
Kane's like an opera singer of some sort.
Really?
Deep tenor voice.
Looks like all of the Callis kids got the voice, didn't they? They're skipping in a generation there. Swan is hit down the left side. This should make the seats, and will. No balls and 2 strikes to count. Started his own travel business, Untapped Travel, during the offseason. Now you know where to book your next traveling plans when you're gallivanting all over the country doing sports. And he's got the sports background and the travel
Yeah, we think
experience.
a minor league ball player would have a pretty good idea on the ins and outs of travel.
But does he know how to get the deals is the question. And that's where the skills come in. The 0-2. Hammered into the net just to our left. No balls and 2 strikes to count remains. Click a pretty good lifetime record. 24-7, a 3.26 ERA. Only made 2 starts in his pro career. 26 saves. He had a career high 22 saves with Windy City. What a great year he had there in 2013. 3-0, a .90 ERA and 22 saves. The 0-2 way inside, and once again a ball gets past the catcher here, giving new meaning to the word receiver, or lack thereof.
I feel like we should put an L screen behind the plate umpire.
And then you would yell at them like little leaguers. One ball and 2 strikes to count here on Cordero. Skeeters down 5. They have 2 more cracks at it here in the bottom of the 8th and the bottom of the 9th. So one hit into right center field. That's going to be a base hit. Sounded like a broken bat by Cordero. A dozen hits now on the night for the Skeeters.
Strange night for Cordero. He's got 3 base hits. He's knocked in a couple of runs. He's made a couple of good efforts at third, but a couple of throwing errors and 3 in all. So he's had a little bit of everything.
In steps Wilfredo Rodriguez. Rodriguez has hit into a double play, grounded at the third, and walked last time up. He's 0 for 2. Skeeters down 10-5 here in the bottom half of the 8th inning. It has been a wild one. First pitch swung and missed by Rodriguez. No balls and 1 strike to count, so 24 combined hits. 15 combined runs, and I would say 6 combined errors, but the Skeeters have all 6.
Well, they've combined for that number.
Skeeters came in as the best fielding team in the Atlantic League. They will drop a few spots. Just want to strike on the outside corner. Because the Skeeters undermanned, they do not have 2 of their best defenders out there in Zawatsky and Prince.
Yeah, that's impacted everything. It's just like moving guys around in the lineup, hitting in different spots, but it's more impactful defensively when you're pushing guys to positions they might not normally play.
The 0-2 here from Click. Swung and a miss, strike 3 as Rodriguez waves at a ball low and away. Good slider there by Click, gets Rodriguez on 3 pitches.
One of the best aspects of this game is just seeing Jan Santee back in the lineup. I know he got into the game late in game 1, but you know, after missing a week, he was as hot as anybody, not only in this league, but probably in all the minors when he went down.
Yep. Came into today's action second in the league in hitting. He's been out just over a week. In steps Joe Benson, who's 1 for 3. He had a single in his second at bat in the 4th. First pitch to Joe. On a strike on the outside corner. Benson sports those long locks. Usually you cut your hair and you lose your superpowers. But I don't know. Maybe it couldn't hurt right now. Click looks over at first. And Cordero is not going to go anywhere down 5. Not blessed with a ton of speed anyway. This one swung and a missed. No balls and 2 strikes here on Benson. Click. Now 10 pitches, 9 of them for strikes. I believe this is a Skeeters record for errors in a night. The 0-2 here by Click. He'll kick and deal. This one is low and away, dropped by Tejeda, but only a foot or 2 to his left. 1 ball and 2 strikes to count. Click will dig out the spikes there. Benson, that open stance from the right side, stands deep in the box and fairly close to the plate. They set him inside, and this one swung and fouled straight back. Did not fool Benson off the fists. Count remains 1-2. Click and Benson, no hurry here.
Yeah, sometimes I think when you come into a game late with a 5-run lead, there's a certain pace and tempo by which you want to pitch. And I don't think Click's at that level.
The 1-2, this one low and away, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
My thought is the longer it takes to get out number 1 or 2 or 3, the more chances the opponents have. And obviously if you hold onto the ball, there's no pitch coming. But the laborious time between pitches, I think, only extends the chance of maybe putting a guy on with a walk or having an error made behind you. We've seen that tonight, and kind of extending innings rather than going after guys.
The 2-2. Swan and skied to right field down the line. Mitchell, a long run. Will he get to it? No, but it just goes foul. We'll do the 2-2 again. That was a long run for Mitchell. Almost dropped in there for a double, especially with Benson's speed. Derek Piles on deck. You got to think at some point, with Benson's background, he is going to get on a roll here, but it's just off to a very slow start. That would be a huge pick-me-up. If he's batting well, you could drop him to ninth, get that extra leadoff hitter. Between him, Miller, and Prince, that'd be quite a trio. This one swung and a missed as he chases a high fastball. Second straight strikeout for Click. There's two down. Cordero remains at first, and that'll bring in Derek Piles.
You're starting to get to that point of the season where, entering play in this series, three guys were already over 100 at bats. Prince was leading the league in ABs. Not in there tonight. Other guys approaching triple digits and at bats on the campaign.
Well, Piles will step in. He is 0 for 3. He has committed 4 outs. He has popped out, hit into a double play, and flied out to right. As that crouch and open stance from the right side of the box. Skeeters trailing 10-5 here as Piles waits for the first pitch. First pitch here is a fastball strike on the outside corner. 91 on the gun for Click. Click 6'3" out there, but kind of a long, lanky right-hander at 210 pounds. Looks a little taller. Cordero short lead at first. This one swung and fouled off to the right side, 0-2. I don't know if there's much sense in Guzman holding him on there. That's 5.
You know, it's funny because I looked over there a couple of times. Cordero has a lead. If he would fall back to the bag, he'd hit his belt buckle on the bag, and his rest of his body would be in foul territory.
Like 17 pitches, 14 of them for strikes. If you're manager Mark Mason for the Revolution, that's exactly what you want right now. Somebody could throw strikes. Been a lot of pitches thrown in this game by both sides. This one a little bit high and outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes to count here. Attempted to bring your closer in, up 5 in the 9th if you're York. Allen is the closer. He did not fare well yesterday, Brad Allen. The 1-2 here to Piles. And this one gets past the catcher. Shocker. That would probably be a pass ball, I'm thinking here. Wow. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Skeeters trailing 10-5 here in the bottom half of the 8th inning. Click throws here. The 2-2. This one off the fist of Piles and back into our right. Count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. That was ruled the pass ball. Click, despite throwing strikes, taking a lot of time between pitches. The 2-2 here to number 2-3, Derek Piles. On swung to miss strike 3, and Click answer the leadoff single, strikes out the next 3, strikes out the side. And that'll do it here for the Skeeters. We are through 8 innings of play. It is still the Revolution in front, 10-5.
We got a new pitcher for the Skeeters. They have a new left-hander. It's actually their right fielder, Jeremy Barfield. Going to try and bring some heat, working with the Skeeters down 10-5 in the 9th inning. Boy, Jeremy looks like he's pretty comfortable out there in the hill.
Yeah, well, I can tell you his numbers. No record, no ERA, no innings pitched, no walks, no strikeouts, no hits. Remember, Jeremy was converted to a pitcher while in Oakland system in 2014. He was 4-1 with a 4.42 ERA, 36 innings, 36 and 2/3, 30 hits. He allowed 28 walks and 43 strikeouts, so obviously had the fastball with that cannon and right, but walked too many, and by his own admission, he hated it. Went back to being an everyday player. See what he does here. Now that we have the radar gun, I'll be curious to see what he gets that up to. First pitch at 88. It'll be 8-9-1 here. Derek Robinson. Jared Mitchell then back to the top of the order with Jose Constanza. Fastball catches the outside corner. At 186.
I guess you don't mind giving up the DH when it's Barfield who's on the hill.
The 1-1. There's one to strike on the inside corner. He's throwing strikes, so give him that.
Here's where it gets interesting, because now you're going to get to see if he's got the slide piece or the curveball working.
Let's see. You're going to set up inside the 1-2. On the inside corner, strike 3. And Robinson does not agree. Well, out number 1 here, 1 out, none on. Jared Mitchell will step in.
If you're Jared Mitchell, you're thinking, I really don't want to face this guy on the hill. You know, he just threw 3 straight strikes, but who knows if he might just put one of my ribs.
Lefty-lefty matchup. Another strike catches the outside corner.
Well, that's a good breaking ball.
Very good. Oh, so much for you don't use it, you lose it. Looks pretty sharp here. Hasn't pitched in 2 years. The 0-1. Swung and fouled straight back 0-2.
Pumping strikes.
Yes, indeedy. He did pitch 1 game for Albuquerque at AAA for the Rockies. That was in 2015.
I have a feeling that might have been like a 20-15 game.
Most likely.
See Rice's score the other night?
Did not.
They won 26-17.
Nail biter, huh? The 0-2 foul deep down the left side. Count remains 0-2. Is that like a 10-run inning?
I think there were multiple 10-run innings. It was ridiculous.
What do you think about a college mercy rule?
They have one, and I love it.
What is the rule if you won 26-6?
No, it's 26-17.
Oh. The 0-2 curveball and a beaut. Strike 3. What a pitch by Barfield.
Jared Mitchell standing there staring back at John Sevier, the plate umpire, but I think that was a pretty good pitch.
Have to close a couple of games. 2 outs, none on as Barfield has struck out both batters he faced. And look at the intensity on his face. He's taking this seriously.
Here's Costanza. I said Mitchell didn't want to step in against him. Costanza really doesn't want to step in against him.
I guess the Skeeters found their second left-hander. This one, a fastball misses low and away. 1 ball and no strikes account. I only want to see him let loose once and see how hard he can throw.
I think he tried there, and his momentum carried him out of the landing spot and missed outside.
Low 1-0, swung on, sky down the left side. This should make the seats long run for Cordero. He will run out of real estate. 1-1. Constanza has reached twice, once on an error by Cordero, once on a single that drove in a run. He is 1 for 5. He's also struck out, hit into a double play, and grounded out to third. Skeeters are trailing 10-5 here in the top half of the ninth. And Jeremy Barfield on the hill for the Skeeters, trying to strike out the side. The 1-1. Fastball for a strike.
Of the pitchers we've seen tonight, even Costanza, he has a smile because it's not that Barfield has been effective. It's just he's just pumped 1 strike after another on a night where so few have.
He's been the most accurate pitcher on both ends. The 1-2 swung and fouled off.
Yeah, he threw another breaking ball. That one he didn't get on top of it. It hung up just a bit, so Costanza is able to get a piece. But I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't try it again and strike out the side.
Might as well. The 1-2 coming here from Barfield. Curveball, and this one, that's a break on it, boy. Wow.
It's a little slower on that curve, but he came back with it.
1-2 the count remains here on Costanza. Barfield's 1-2. Swung and fouled straight back. That time the fastball. So far he's tipped out at 88 consistently with the fastball.
So far, Barfield had one very public screaming match with a plate umpire not that long ago when the game was over. He was actually thrown out even though the game was over. And now you're up there on the mound. Now you want the wide zone. Now you're hoping to get that corner call.
The 1-2 in the dirt. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. I always say baseball is a very evening game, and sometimes over the course of an inning or even in a bat over a game, certainly over a season, it tends to even out. The 2-2 here by Barfield. Swung and hit past Barfield left side, and that's going to trickle into left center field for a base hit. First hit against Barfield, 2 outs, 1 on, and Ryan Dent will step in. Dent has also reached on an error, singled and walked. He's been on base 3 times. He is 1 for 4. He's also flied out a couple times and scored a couple. Skeeters trailing 10-5 here in the top of the 9th. Looking ahead to the bottom of the 9th, Barfield will bat 3rd. It's a quick turnaround.
If only he could homer to make himself the winning pitcher.
One is skied into shallow right field. Long run here by Wilkins. Dives and makes the catch. Whoa! On a play by Wilkins. The ball always seems to find you. Barfield comes out of right field to the mound. Wilkins into right field, makes a great catch. Sliding towards the right field line.
With Jansanti hurdling him.
That will do it. Last chance when we get back. Bottom of the 9th. The Skeeters are down 5. We'll have the biggest comeback in them. We'll find out when we return in a moment.
On a pinch here in the bottom of the 9th is Chase Hutchinson, making his 9th appearance. 1-0, 8 innings. He's given up 1 hit. 1 hit in 8 innings. Has walked 5. League batting 40 against him. 0-4-0.
Hutchinson, 28 years old. Number 32 is 6'5", 215 from Fayetteville, Arkansas. He's been as high as AAA. He's with Las Vegas last year, the AAA affiliate of the Mets. Went to the University of Central Arkansas, drafted by the Astros in the 23rd round in 2008. That's your split time between rookie ball, advanced A, and AAA, all in the Met system. He spent 2010 through 2016, his entire career in the New York Mets system. 25 and 16 overall, with a 3.31 ERA and 3 saves.
How about that play by Wilkins to end the top of the ninth with Jansanti hurdling him, nearly kicking him in the head, and Wilkins moving from first base to help out Barfield, who wasn't right, who was pitching.
It's amazing how the ball will find you wherever you decide to go into a game, especially when you're out of position. Great effort by Wilkins. His team just never quits, offensively or defensively. Derek Miller, Andy Wilkins, Barfield here, 1, 2, and 3. Miller been on base 2 more times here in Game 2. He has singled, walked, and struck out twice. He is officially 1 for 3. Barfield will go from the mound to the plate. He is on double deck. The 1-0. Fastball high and outside. 2 balls and no strikes here to Miller.
This is where your PA guy, Shane, really needs to emphasize. Now batting, pitcher, Jeremy Barfield.
See if he remembers here. The 2-0. This one right down the middle for a strike, 2-1. Miller taking all the way with his team down 10-5 here in the bottom of the ninth. Hutchinson gets the sign here from Tejeda. And the 2-1 to Miller. Swollen and slow roller right side of the mound. Hutchinson bobbles it, and now he's going to race to the bag, and he gets there just ahead of Miller. Was hustling down. That'll be out number 1 unassisted.
Problem was Guzman stopped, and Hutchinson looked up, and he was in no man's land either. He was going to make the play, or nobody was.
Links up Andy Wilkins. Wilkins now in right field. Has struck out twice, grounded out, singled, and scored. He is 1 for 4. Skeeters trailing 10-5 here in the bottom of the ninth. Wilkins got to the College World Series when he was a Razorback.
Well, he's facing Hutchinson, who lives in Arkansas, Fayetteville, so maybe he's a Razorback as well.
He is not. Into the University of Central Arkansas. Lefty-lefty matchup here. This one away, low and away. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. None on. Skeeters down by 5 here in the bottom of the ninth. This game 3 hours and 15 minutes old now. The 1-1 by Hutchinson. This one is past Hutchinson to his right, but charging it is Franco. Throw to first, 4-3 on the putout. 2 down. Let's see how Barfield's introduced here. And he is introduced indeed as the pitcher.
You have to be. That's part of the fun. At a night where you haven't been able to laugh at a lot, Jeremy's provided a few highlights.
Barfield, a scoreless inning on the mound. And he has been walked twice, scored twice, and grounded out twice. First pitch, a strike here to Barfield. No balls and 1 strike to count. Barfield came in 291, a league-leading 9 home runs and 20 RBIs. Big swing and a miss here. No balls and 2 strikes.
Oh, those pitchers, they're always trying to hit home runs.
No balls and 2 strikes, and the Skeeters down to their final strike here. Down 10-5 in the bottom of the ninth. The 0-2. Swung and fouled off to the right side. Count remains, no balls and 2 strikes. Finale tomorrow afternoon. A 2:05 first pitch will be on the air at 2 o'clock here on 1560. Hutchinson looks in for the sign from Tejeda. Now he's going to step off. Barfield ready for the 0-2. He set up outside, and this one is swung and a bullet into center field. Well, Barfield, no quit in him, on base for the third time tonight. As his first hit of the evening. Skeeters need quite a few more base runners now. That'll bring in Kevin Aarons, the cleanup hitter. Aarons, a perfect night. He is 4 for 4 with 3 singles, a double, 2 runs scored, and an RBI.
Yeah, you don't give any opportunities for a 5 for 5 night.
No, you don't. Only a half a dozen in Skeeters history. Well, in steps Aarons. First pitch here is a strike on the outside corner. 0-1 the count. Skeeters and Revolution, same amount of hits now after Barfield single, 13 hits apiece. The 0-1. Swollen and foul tipped. That one got a piece of the thigh, the inner thigh of the catcher Tejeda. And again, the Skeeters down to their final strike as Aarons is down 0-2. Home plate umpire John Severe will give Tejeda a little bit more time. I asked an umpire once if they give the catcher the benefit of the doubt a little bit more at the plate when he's batting, and he said, "You bet I do." Guarding him all game. Again, the 0-2 here to Aarons. Hutchinson fires, and this one low. They appeal. I don't think he went
swung.
There. Did he? Yeah, and that's the game. Wow, I didn't think he went through. Skeeters lose this one 10-5 in a bizarre ending to an extremely bizarre game. Numbers look like this: 10 runs, 13 hits, and no errors for the Revolution. 5 runs, 13 hits, and 6 errors for the Skeeters. We're going to take a break. We'll come back. We'll have the post-game show when we return. Final numbers, highlights, player of the game, and preview tomorrow's Game 4 finale. All that and more when we return on the Skeeters post-game show in a moment.